Thanks for these excellent questions, sincerely. So, the first thing in the bigger picture for Liberians to understand is we need to reduce our mentality of dependency, depending on the IMF, on the World Bank, on donors. So that's the first thing we got to work on as a people is self-sufficiency. I want to start with the big picture and this attitude of dependency, dependency, dependency. And that applies to both borrowing and debt, which I will get to just now. And it also applies to the dependency on donors. People want to help us, we're not going to say no. But mentally, our psychology, our actions should be all about what can we do for ourselves first. So let's just start with reducing the dependency mentality. Then let's talk about debt. Debt, by definition, borrowing and leverage, is not a bad thing if used well, if used properly. But it also starts with what you're doing for yourself first. So that when you go to a bank to borrow money, first question the bank will ask, what are you contributing? What are you doing? What percentage are you putting? And so come back to our natural resources. I keep saying to our people that we are too rich a country for us to be so poor. What do I mean? We have a lot of natural resources. We got gold, we got diamonds, we got iron ore. We apparently have bauxite and other resources. The resources leave our country. We know it's being exported. It leaves, and yet we are poor. So we need to make sure that we are getting full value from our resources, not just a few people who are either getting shares or are getting money. And in the meantime, millions of dollars are leaving, and a few people are only getting a few $1,000s. So if we leverage our resources appropriately, if we get full value, the investors have to get a return. I'm a businessman, I understand that. But we have to also get a fair return for Liberian people. If we do that, it will reduce our need to borrow. It will reduce our need for donations and contributions from donors. And so, yes, I'm not going to lie to Liberian, but
I'm sorry. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mistakenly muted I mute myself. Let me see if you can hear me now. Let me see. Okay, good, good. I know you can hear me now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So tell me, which of the politicians in our time that explain things to us to tell us that borrowing is not a bad thing, but you got to know how to use it. President Weah will not tell you about borrowing. President Weah will not sit there and be explaining. All he know, they will borrow the money and use it, put it in the pockets. Which of the candidates that sit and tell us about the economy because he's a businessman? A man who know, look, the only person that can handle the economy in Liberia that it will move from one end will jumpstart that Alex Cummings. He's a financial officer. He's a finance guy. He know how to turn 1 cent into 2 cents. He will teach you what to do. So Liberian people, relax. Right now, we are in the seat. You saw the release that Mr. Cummings put on. The chairman is in charge. CPP is stronger than before. Mr. Cummings is the chairman now for CPP. You see the first release? You see it? He told President we are the truth. Corruption, stealing, you can't protect the citizens. That is the Cummings we'll be looking for. Let them do whatsoever. I saw a release from one lay PPPA. Why, Liberian people, please do not worry about ALP. Do not worry about ALP. ALP don't even have anybody to put into the race. Poor late Jethro, poor little boy Jethro, Emmanuel Jethro, who trying to run for representative for District 1, believe that a Euro, he will get on the Euro ticket because that's the only thing he depending on. He went to Sir Joseph the other day to beg for Sir Joseph yellow machine. He and all writing and signing release from you from ALP, lying, insulting Mr. Cummings again. You see that? You see the work of ALP? Don't pay no mind to them. Please, we beg you. We got too much work to do. We got a lot of work to do. These little boys will eat their words after 2023. That boy, that pipipa, you just lead Jethro. He been used. You know what I like about them? When they finish, then they go sit down with their same friends and vomit. So don't worry about Jethro. ALP released as something for us to worry about. Eh? ALP feeling hauling UP down with them. And guess what? UP say if they don't put Kennedy in Lofa County, that means the election are fair. But wait now. So if the Lothian vote for another candidate, that means the election are fair still. Don't trap now for rat alone. I told you, I've been saying it thing long time. Maybe you're not understanding. Let me put it the real way. I said, be careful what you say. If you go in the bush to look for your late juju, understand that the one you bending down to, that somebody who not juju. They ran Mr. Cummings oil, Mr. Cummings finger document, Mr. Cummings do this, Mr. Cummings do that. You know what I love about them? You got all the information. Why you can't beg the government, Serena Sifa say, I won't testify. All the information they got about fingering document, Jethro, go and testify. Don't come be explaining. You are labor. Librarian man say you picking. You picking. Every one of you, the only thing you know in politics is to lie. Lie, lie, lie. And your bosses then just eating the money right on you. Right on you. Jethro, I just shared my video with you. In your release, why can't you beg Serena Cephas to go to court so you will testify now? Say you know plenty. Eh? You know, ALP are the kind of people then who say, if I can't get it, my friend can't get it. Then they get the other man who say he's the oldest, he's the most seasoned, most senior politician in Liberia. He sat on there, the children pushing him around. He said if UP put Kennedy in Lofa County, there will be no election in Lofa County. Man, put what he say, then I'm you. And guess that, you know I left on them. They have meeting with the American ambassador. And guess what? The American ambassador to meet Liberty Party later on the meeting, all the political party. They're trying to give them warning that you guys should be careful. I saw the entourage alone. I said, yeah, look at a bunch of corrupt people. Yeah, pole boaga. They pushing the woman. They say, talk. Threaten the American embassy. You can take that case to Jesus Christ. The law is the law. Unity Party will not feed no candidate. You will go to the Supreme Court. That case will be over the. Eh? You put Mr. Cummings in court. Now you see how God doing things. That their own wickedness. That how God beating them. Please share the video, please. God beating them right now. God whipping them. Oh, Danamio, the time you brought the case, we throw the case outside. Then the justice minister went and issued the arrest again. So the whole thing, I swear to God, not me. Mr. Cummings, not me. Don't get vexed with me. You see, when we do anything I wish on, you say we lie. Poor Mr. Cummings, this guy. Because he won't run for president, he said he ran for the only crime he committed in Liberia. My people, in fact, we not even need to be talking about document business again. I'm getting fed up with the whole stupid document issue. In Liberia, why UP? In fact, let me tell you what ALP said. ALP said that, you see, Liberty Party and ANC rejoicing because that's what they wanted. They wanted to change the document so they will stay. And they're gone. Why they getting vexed? They ain't got to vote for us. They ain't got to vote. Then they stay getting vexed. We just only trying to teach them that you guys been lying to the Liberian people. You say you won't stay in government. When you sign any paper, you must stick by it. When you can't stay in the heat, leave the kitchen. If you can't stay in the heat Leave the kitchen. Politics are not for babies. Mr. Cummings have just proven it to you again. He's so quiet and calm and collective. This guy brain is so sharp. This man with wisdom. The man has vision for Liberia. Vision for Liberia. How to move from A to B. What will move Liberia? The man is so honest. He said, yes, President, we are doing some good stuff. If I tell you, say, President, we didn't do nothing, then I will be lying to you. Which of the politicians are telling us that one? The man said the CPP. I will not blame Cody. I myself was part of the CPP. Maybe because I am listening to them. But what Mr. Cummings got over them, the urge that Mr. Cummings got over them, no, they like this, Mr. Cummings like this. Because you know what? Mr. Cummings is still in the CPP to solve the problem. They're gone. They can't solve the problem. Now they stuck. They in selling Dion land. Zeletule, I know Zeletule. Eh? They sitting there now, they confused. All they're doing now, they threaten people who will do the look. Let me send message to you guys. UP, y'all got big mouth. Y'all got big mouth. Y'all will not do nothing. If y'all try anything, the boy arrest you. That one will not talk to Joe. We have for your business. I'm telling you something serious. All you need to do, just write a nice letter of apology to Mr. Cummings, and y'all come back. We will change that part of the document, and we'll have a farewell party for you. That's all I can promise you on. That's all I can promise you. You write a letter of apology, Ume Bwaka. Y'all come, y'all bring Uri. We'll go there. We'll take the document. We'll amend that part of it and go back to NEC, and we'll have a rousing welcome or farewell party for you guys, and y'all can go. Because I know it's shameful. I know what I understand your plight. I know what you're really concerned about. Because it looks so disgraceful that if Mr. Bwaka decides to get into the race and he's not under the name UP, and who will want to run as independent? Who will want to run as independent? Bwaka ain't get money to run as independent. You know what I'm saying? Some of the UP people say they're not following y'all. They said they will stay with they will stay with UP, with CPP, and vote for Mr. Cummings. So I'm telling you, y'all continue to cost Mr. Cummings. Y'all cost Mr. Cummings, we will vote for Mr. Cummings. No, you're not hearing it yet. Continue to cost Cummings. We will vote for Cummings. Let me make you to understand today. UP, you don't have monopoly over leadership. The presidency it don't belong to you. It don't belong to you at all. It's not entitlement. Liberian people don't owe you nothing. Liberian people owe you nothing. You're running for 12 years. It's just that because Joe, we are messed up, you're talking too much. I don't blame nobody. I don't blame nobody for UP to open their mouth. I blame President Weah. I blame President Weah because President Weah too don't know what he's doing. UP took it and gave it to him. Instead of he doing good, he messed it up too. So UP got a man and the guts to even stay in front of Liberian people. Paul Mo Ali and Amin Moda, they're going to remove them to the convention. They're already begging people not to challenge the old man at the convention. Because you see how the guys are corrupt? Man, people, who can elect stand-up bearer for 6 years when you lose? The rules in any political party, when you have your convention, you select your stand-up bearer. When you go out there and you lose, you are not the stand-up bearer anymore. The party is controlled. But because Liberia, to be frank, all that nonsense political. Only in Liberia, I'm telling you, it's just a mess. The chairman runs the party. Donald Trump is not a stand-up bearer for a Republican Party. No, he's not. Small little country like bro, so dirty. Small country like bro. Our politicians they dirty too because their brains. Only in like bro get deputy speaker. We ain't got money, but we get deputy speaker. Big country like America, they ain't get deputy speaker. They get majority leader, minority leader. No deputy speaker. Just to eat money. United Party say they're going to have a peaceful march. Peaceful march headed by Prince Moui, Prince from Bon County. They say they're having peaceful march. Liberian people, please, we got too much work to do. They can have the peaceful march, it is their right. We got a lot of work to do, but Mr. Cummings, we're not going to stop. Right now, the way the fire is on, we got to keep that fire moving. We got to keep telling the Liberian people that Cummings is the man. Liberian people, don't let nobody fool you. Joshua cannot deliver Liberia anymore. Joshua have reached to the top. There is nothing, no option. Don't let them fool you. They ain't get nothing inside again. It done. Kabush. They say corruption kill the whole government. Corruption. They can't defend you. They can't protect you. The next one is depending on, they say they're going to open the one behind the barracks. So they can even open it on the high sea. I know you will vote against them. It will not put food on your table. It will not feed your children and send your children to school because they ain't got no vision, nothing left, nothing there. They can't negotiate with no country, no government, no company coming because of the record. Look at the two reports that came out. What they don't understand, everything they blame Paul, Mr. Cummings. The other day they say, I know who's stomach. They said, Joe, we are stomach or hurting again. They said that Mr. Cummings gave Joe, we are dirty water to drink. Everything that Mr. Cummings, everything Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings. Then you say they don't know Mr. Cummings. Everybody know that name Cummings. Everywhere Cummings going in the town, they know the name they call Cummings. They lay babies there and all know Cummings. The children all know the Lord and they say, wow, Bugos case. And let me talk about Darius Dillon, although he's a corrupt guy, but I will not blame Darius Dillon. I'm not going to discuss about what happened. I'm sorry that it happened. But he issued a statement. If the statement is not sincere, where it's up to anybody. He issued a statement. The guy was not on shift, was not protecting him. That his business. He will face the law. The guy said, Darius Dillon said, oh, I will provide a lawyer for the man, blah, 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 their business. But if you don't handle it the way it's supposed to be, they should know that he's a senator. He said this guy is suspended. But the people on Spoon today, they said the way Darius Dillon answered them, they didn't like it. But hey, all I'm going to say, let the law take its course. Let the law handle that part of it. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of, thank God the man is still alive. Let the law handle it. But you see, under the Cummings administration, all this nonsense will not take place, trust me. You don't got to go and start beating the people, beating them with baton before you know that you want to implement. No. Give the people logistics. Let the policeman know that he taking pay. The policeman know he get car to move from Central to Nukutan. In fact, why move from Central to Nukutan? Why leave from there? You got police depot all over the place and nobody sitting there. Eh? Why? Nukutan, every district should have a very good, up-to-date depot. Every district. Every district should be able to have a patrol cars and whatsoever, electricity, a radio, everything ready to respond. But I'm telling you, the Cummings administration, he's seen this thing. He know that the justice system is corrupt. He will fix it because he got first-hand information. He himself, you're living witness to it and the way you're treating him. The way you're treating him. So you're going cursing. You can curse Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings this. Mr. Cummings that. Liberian people, please don't allow the corrupt people to disturb your brain. CPP is still stronger than before. You don't need four to be in the party. You don't need four political parties. They got other small party. Don't let them fool you. Say there will be second round. Maybe there will not be no second round. Maybe it will be no second round. You might like only four. Maybe like only 5 candidates will be in the race. Only 5. Mr. Cummings is sincere, honest man. He telling you the truth. He's not making up his own story. Whether we vote for him or not, he's a Liberian. He will stay with us. We will eat the same type of food, although he will be up there, but he will be there. You're not going nowhere. So I'm not worried. He's not going nowhere. They will lie to you. Oh, Mr. Cummings, that are American. Yeah, let us say it. Let us say it. So I'm telling you, please, please. You know, when CPP was strong, that Mr. Cummings was the chairman for CPP. CPP was so strong under the leadership of Mr. Cummings, even George Weah could not sleep. And trust me, you never see a master planner. Alexander Cummings, he's a master planner. He's a very good salesman. He's a leader. He's a man who go by the rules and regulation, the laws of Liberia. He would defend that constitution. And the Liberian people would know what it means to be a leader, to protect you. Under Cummings administration, they will not arrest nobody, man, because they kill your child. They will not arrest you because you want protest. You will not even have the means, the time to even protest because you will know the story. The Cummings administration, no police will give a statement out before even they start the investigation because you will not survive. So I'm only telling you, you watch the interview of Mr. Cummings. You saw his this press statement he put up today. Very hard on the government. Let George Weah do whatever he want to do. But come 2023, the Liberian people will remove George Weah. I'm saying it. Come 2023, the Liberian people will remove George Weah. Okay. Today I'm going to do, don't forget, Sunday will be Who is Cummings. We'll be starting on Sunday by 3 o'clock. You answer the question, you get $10. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stay too long. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going to go through the comments. If you have any question that you want to ask, you are free to. If I cannot answer it, I will tell you, no, I cannot answer it. If it's a sarcastic question, I will give you a sarcastic remarks. But I want you to ask me a genuine question of the 21st century, question about how Liberia will move forward, how our children will be able to go to good school, how the health and whatsoever. You want to ask me anything about, you saw the 5 watts and how. So you can ask a question you want to ask. Love the music. Thank you. That the better music right there. Good morning, Munir. How are you, Regina? How's everything, man? Foreign God. No sound. There was no sound at the time. Foreign God is one of the sponsors of the Who is Cummings program that will be held on Sunday. He contributed $350. I'm sorry, $305. So, and Agnes contributed something. So, guys, you can still make your contribution, but don't worry. I got another people that call me. A lot of people calling, and when this show start to be strong and heavy, I know people want to steal it from me, but don't worry. Yep, there was no sound at the time. No sound. No sound. No sound. No sound. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Man, I love my people, man. They can inform me. When I look, I say, but look at it. They are muted. Okay, so if anybody want to ask question, I'm going through the thing. I'm not going to stay too long. I'm getting ready to leave. I had a lot of work to do today, and I was in Trenton after work the whole day. ALP is a family club, not a political party. You are 100% right. They just put a statement up. The statement is so long with lies. And Paul Lay, Deputy Secretary General Emmanuel Jethro, signed the release. It's shameful, man. It's shameful. Good morning, Christiana. Yep. Good morning. Yep. It's so shameful. Seriously. So true. So true. Hey, Munel, thanks for the show. Thank you very much. Thank you too for watching. Thank you. Yeah, that God. Oh yes, that God whipping and the way God whipping and said they can't even sleep. They can't even sleep. I'm telling you, they continue to lie on themselves. Yep, Mr. Cummings have scored 65% for now. Oh yes, Henry Yango. I appreciate it. No, in fact, Henry Yango was one of the guy who always said he speak his mind, and he said something the other day that we need to push the message. We need to be out there. Mr. Cummings need to reach out to the people. And Henry, Mr. Cummings is doing it. Mr. Cummings is prepared. He putting his team together. He going to be tough. He going to revitalize the team. Look, the CPP is like it's a vehicle. It's like you coming from Nima County and you got people on board and you had a flat tire. When you get that flat tire, some people don't have patience. They will leave and say, oh, no, I'm going to go. Now we have changed the tire. We're not stopping UP from going anywhere. Let me tell you the real truth. We're not in the business, Mr. Cummings or the other guys are not in the business to stop them. But what we are saying that, and what they don't understand, they go into neck and they complain, so, oh, the document is fraud. The document is fraud. How can the document be fraud? And y'all listen, they say the document are correct. But honor when his name Joe Bwaka, honor his leadership. CPP put in candidate for and Bomi Hills, Grand Jide, and Nima County. CPP under the leadership of Mr. Bwaka. CPP and fair candidate. Y'all tell me now. But they say the document are correct. They say document that is not correct. So what NEC telling them? NEC said, listen, what we got in our possession is what we're going to use, is the law. If you're not satisfied, go to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court interpret the law. And my people, don't let nobody fool you. Article 17 is different from Article 25. Article 25 guarantees all contracts. Whether you human being, your organization, Article 17 gave you the right to associate. They say you're free to associate. And you can refuse to associate. That's it. In Article 17, they said nothing more contract. But you sign a contract now. That's where Article 25 comes in. Article 25 telling you that when you sign a contract, it's binding. No law can cancel it. The only people that can cancel a contract, only you myself. The people who sign a contract can cancel it if they want to. But you can't go sign a contract for 1 year. They think clear. But you see, to show that how they lying to Liberian people now, before a tab one way, on tab one way page, 2020 election, tab one way posted the day they signed the contract. He said this contract It's a living document. That is why when Ty Wombe went through the process, that is why when he resigned from from ANC, and Ty Wombe is still not part of ANC today. He resigned from ANC and went independent. You understand? Nobody forcing Ty Wombe to stay in ANC. He free to go. You can't stop him. But Ty Wombe couldn't just go on ANC ticket. You see, today all the document bar. You know, I just want they can just say the document for through a bar. Let them just remove Darius Dillon, remove Yombly. That means every one of them carry fake documents. They same document about Necton and say Necton and say you celebrated the same document. We certificated your jump all over the place. Your won, your did everything. Then you're telling us we're not here to judge the case. Whether the case is in court, is in court. Until the court can tell us that the document is not legal, then NEC will say okay. But for now, you just live with it. And let me ask you something. They say they want strong party. They say they want strong thing. Why I will sign a contract? Who in the world will sign a political contract? We already know Liberian people quick to disappoint people. If there was nothing to hold them, Mr. Cummings was not going to sign a contract. My point, let me tell you today, you know Mr. Cummings. I think Mr. Cummings was the only guy who read that contract. He went through that contract. Even some of the ANC people didn't read the contract. I'm telling you today. Some of the ANC people, and I'm guilty of it. Do you know what made me to start to look at the contract? Oh, it was last year. Last year in January. That's when I was invited by ANC. I was on a Zoom. So all the time we've been seeing that contract. If you saw it, oh, ACPP, this and that, or what you want to internet, go there right now, just Google it, it will come up. When I posted something, I said Mr. Cummings should leave the CPP. There is no way he can win in the CPP because you got Ure who already against Mr. Cummings. Then you got a Liberty Party. I don't trust them. So I posted in our chat room. Everybody talked. My first time coming to, I talked to Mr. Cummings now, New Year Eve, but my first time now to see Mr. Cummings on Zoom. And I said, well, I have a serious reservation on the CPP. I hope you can leave, get out, because of what happened to Ty Wombe, it will happen to you. I said because to Ty Wombe, Liberty Party, ALP, and UP, they were together and they said we're going behind and what they said, Edith. So, you know, Mr. Cummings said, he said, I understand. I saw your post. He said, I understand you, Munel. I understand what you're saying. He said, but let me understand. Mr. Ure got 1 vote. Yombly got 1 vote. Mr. Bwaka got 1 vote. I must say I got 1 vote. He said, but let me tell you this. Don't you know that if I leave the CPP, ANC will not contest the election? This thing I'm telling you now, it was January of 2021, right after the Darius Dillon election. So I said, but how? He said, y'all read the document. So all in our mind was, if you go to the convention and you lose the convention, you will not leave. Then that same day I Google it, I start to read. Then I saw that from the day you sign the contract, that document, every political party, constitutional political party are binding. They will be under the laws of CPP. Anything you have your party separate, yes, but if you're doing anything as a CPP, you will abide by the rules, accountability, everything. And if you want to leave, you should go through XYZ process. complain or write this, and I think Article 8 or something, point 5 or something. But if you leave the CPP, you will not feel candidate in your party name until after 2023. Also, that same document said that after 2023, the four political parties could come together and have a merger if they want to. That same document said that the high get to hear that know that other other parties that are registered has the right to join CPP, but the four party must agree. So there's a room to bring other. So all that thing. So I look, I say, oh. Then Mr. Cummings said something. He said, all I want you guys to do, the VPS, let us do everything to get a good numbers on the VPS, because the VPS is the people. When we do this poll, if the poll come back and say Mr. Cummings cannot win, I don't need to go to waste my time, because Mr. Cummings was the one who recommended this poll. But they know what Mr. Cummings was up to. Mr. Cummings believed in it. Like he said, only the Liberian people can tell me not to run. Only the Liberian people can tell me to run. Then I know one individual. This guy brought something different to politics in Liberia. You know, we got that foolish thing. We say, yeah, my man Yango, my man, I want you to contest. My man, can. Yeah. Whether the people like you or not, because you get small money, I say, my man, you can make it, man. Then I tell you, and I say, my man, I look at me, you win. I can bring 10,000 people for you right now. That's not true. But we know. So Mr. Cummings said, you could just continue to push the message. I will go around the country. Although the VPS is not binding, because in fact, Ability told them, say, because not new, Ability represented Yombly on all the meetings. Yombly was not in no meeting. Yombly was on a campaign trail, so she never attended any meetings. Imagine Mr. Cummings was running campaign at the same time taking care of CPP. Yeah, this guy, the man, strong. So Mr. Ability said, okay. You say, oh, Mr. Cummings won't bring new thing. Mr. Cummings won't bribe the people. So that thing that we can't take it. Eh. So they say, okay, let's use it for record's sake. The delegates will use it. That means we still have the VPS, and the delegates will use it. So every time we go to a meeting, we didn't tell y'all we're saying this thing because they're gone. Because we're holding ground now. Every time we go to a meeting, our responsibility not to let you know, because if these guys were smart, they were going to be out there to do what they were supposed to do. But they were sitting down while Mr. Cummings was running around the country from 2018. Mr. Cummings was going to this county, 2018. I'm telling you, from 2018 to present, Mr. Cummings have traveled all the counties. He went back he told the police, he said, thank you. He went to Maryland, Sano, everywhere. He told them, thank you. Mr. Bwaka was still sleeping. Mr. Weah was still sleeping. Mr. Cummings said, if we cannot win the VPS, it makes no sense. Now, that VPS was the same document, is the document that the delegates were going to use. So they say, Mr. Cummings, so you want Mr. Cummings to bribe all the delegates too now. The delegates will look at the VPS and say, no. Yeah, I like Mr. Cummings, so he's qualified. But according to this VPS, Mr. Cummings can win. Mr. Bwaka won the VPS. So, bam. If a tie, then you say, oh yes. If the VPS tie, but people don't understand when they're doing pool, they get something they call margin of error. So if one person get 57, the other man get like 49 or 48, and the other person get 50, it mean that you win. It's just a pool. You know what I'm saying? You still get a chance to win the general election. You know what I'm saying? But they forgot. They were sitting down. But it's time they noticed Mr. Cummings got ground. They noticed that Mr. Cummings was too tough. Poop. They tell him, Mr. Cummings, say, hey, my man, just go with the paper, but we'll beg you. Just go with the paper, we'll hold your foot. We forced to compensate the woman now. And the woman to him tell Mr. Cummings, say, please go with me. Oh. That you really the one that sort of tell Mr. Cummings, man, people with all the school y'all went to, who y'all know that ever ran for vice president? Nobody vote for vice president. When you vote for the president, that's it. Nobody come and say, only brokers, people with different intention can say, hey man, hello, my man, let me just go as your VP, man. No. The men who won't go, who really want it, will come to you and say, my man, I want you to go as my VP. Let's put a team together. Mr. Ure, Mr. What are you doing? Mr. Cummings came from from a party. Mr. Cummings will say Mr. Cummings should run for president. The you people say Mr. Cummings should run. Then what you getting invest for? Eh? And you don't pay your dues. But we couldn't suspend you because Yombli Kanga was the chairperson and she was in cahoot with the other two parties. And the two people who left the party, they didn't pay dues. Oh, man, people, let me tell you today, y'all quote me. They didn't pay 1 cent, they didn't pay one due to the party. You know, I can happen like Brother Association. The one who can pay, that one that can force. And one that can force. They start talking about finger document. But let me ask you today. Mr. Cummings, he steal no money. Oh. You can never tell say Mr. Cummings went to government and bribed to take out his container. No. Mr. Cummings never worked for government. In fact, they say Mr. Cummings that rebel and all. They say Mr. Cummings worked for child stealer bitches. Oh, they got it. Then, but they say Mr. Cummings finger document, so you're a criminal. The Liberian poor voted for Prince Johnson, who killed plenty of people. The Liberian poor voted for George Weah, who stays stealing and want to steal. And even they say the poor need and they say he from Model 2. The Liberian poor voted for Charles Taylor for killing 250,000. They voted for him. Liberian poor voted for George Bole. That Cummings who finger document to change the document so they will stay. According to them, they say Mr. Cummings did it. That means Mr. Cummings smarter than them. That one more can't waste our time. The law is the law. You know when you earn it, when you innocent, when you honest to yourself, you don't give a damn what will cry. Mr. Cummings ain't get nothing to do. Mr. Cummings got nothing to do but to go test document. Eh? Look at little PPP Jethro trying to cost Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings are criminal. You got your boss. How can you compare Mr. Ure and Mr. Cummings together? Mr. Ure got rich from stealing Liberian poor money. Mr. Cummings got rich by working. Eh? The American people are one number one ally in the world. The only people who can be begging all the time. They say, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ure, you're not coming to America yet. We don't need you. We will not do business with you. You not see Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings can go anywhere with P and D. He clean like a white hen. It will hurt your feelings. The man clean, he clean. And I'm talking about Taiwan Gong, I'm talking about Cummings. Okay, so let me go to the next one. When I finish with the comments, bye. If you get any question, put it there. Let me answer. General, you are hunting. What? You are hurting my side. You are hurting my side. Oh, I'm hurting your side. I thought you said you're hunting. I don't see the arrow, man. The eyeball getting tired now. UP said the claim number, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, let us go back. 2017 elections. Mr. Cummings came fifth in the overall. And why he came fifth? Nimba County overwhelmingly voted for Prince Johnson. Grand Bassa voted for Yombli. In Monserrato, ANC whip came third in Monserrato. ANC came third in 5 counties. In the whole country, ANC never went below 5 out of 22. New party. In Maryland, ANC came second. To who? George Manneh. We are the most popular band. That's a big plus for Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings spent only 8. He stayed while he was in 18 months to the election. Mr. Cummings started campaigning in Liberia. Mr. Cummings campaigned to be relevant. Now, let me tell you something. You see, opposition, any new party, any party that actually pull up numbers, it can be one. They are committed members because they look at all the party and they follow this party. So the 114,000 people that voted for ANC, they are genuine, committed members. The 450 that voted because we joined into, that voted for Mr. Boaka, they're not committed members. But money, why you be mad at? Because they were ruling party. Right after the election, every one of them disappeared. That's not true. Okay. Moriah voted for Mr. Boaka. She's not part of UPP again. And what the guy said, the chairman, Wilmon Pay, he's not part of UP again. He carried some people to Liberation Party. Daniel, he said, TJ, all the guys that were in UP, they switched to CDC. They carried their own. Edwin Snow voted for the Omen. Edwin Snow not there again. So do you think that the state get no? All the members gone. More members can come to the ruling party than anything when they're in charge. That only CDC they want to put on themselves. So you see, for UP, for ANC, imagine if Mr. Cummings will go. Then guess what? And they say Mr. Cummings, and nothing. The man took 4th place. The man took 5th place. 7%. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Because we work for it. That's a committed one. The cheating was between their UP, CDC and UP. But UP vessel, we that came 5th place. They vote with Liberty Party, they vote with Mr. Cummings. And what he said, the late Bromsky never endorsed the Omen. And what he said, Darius Dillon never endorsed the Omen. Only Bernard Ure, because he was still hustling too. Yombly voted for George Weah, but she endorsed nobody because, but money not true. Hey, that's true. Adolph Lawrence was sedition. He ran on CDC ticket and he won. So his wife voted for CDC because of the Sin Siri Allen connection and NPP connection too. You see that? Since then, we have been campaigning. When I say campaigning, registering people. ANC is not the biggest party, it's not the most popular party in Liberia, but ANC is the fastest growing political party. Listen to me. Even my distractor, even the man who took Mr. Cummings to court, the man who hit Mr. Cummings so badly. He said ANC is the fastest. Play for you. Listen to it.
It's head of a political party.
Now listen to this.
A major political party and one of the fastest growing political parties in Liberia.
You hear it? That not me. That Uri. Listen to this again. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. It coming from the same Uri more than muff. That is sincerity, but when they ready to lie, they lie. Let them listen.
Cummings is head of a political party.
Head of a political party.
A major political party and one of the fastest growing political parties in Liberia. Ellis Cummings is head of a political party and a major political party and one of the fastest growing political parties in Liberia. Liberia deserves better.
They are the fastest. We've been going from counties to county registering people. And you know, people registering Liberia to vote. We register you. You get your ID. We make sure you go and register to vote. They're not paying nobody to get registration card. Don't let nobody fool you. If anybody fool you, say Mr. Cummings. In fact, your heard Mr. Cummings say, people don't know when you work for your money hard, they post say Mr. Cummings cheap. But my people, because we want to act like Mr. Good Man, you know the people who steal, the guy who can steal, they're scared to spend. Yeah. But Mr. Cummings, he buy things that he want or love. He don't just buy it because he want it. He must need it. He need it. He love it cars. He love it. You see that? I'm telling you. So that numbers they're talking about are fioko. Are for nothing numbers. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Thank you, Christina. What is the ANC interested in? Just to be opposition, or the ANC just want to see that Bouaka should not be president? Samuel Morris, your question might be right for you. But how in the world you got ANC who running for Mr. Cummings want to running for president? Mr. Cummings is the standard bearer. Why will we sit there to see that Mr. Bouaka now won? We're trying to tell you that George Weah, Mr. Bouaka, the Mr. Cummings, I want Mr. Cummings to be the president of Liberia. I don't want George Weah. I don't want Joe Bouaka. So your question here, if my son put in your ear that one of your, maybe it's your best question you asking. What is the interest of the ANC? What is the ANC interested in? ANC is interested in good governance, infrastructure, job creation, agriculture, education, healthcare, government of inclusion. ANC want to instill law and order. ANC want to bring back that Liberian spirit. That Liberia will be the place where our neighbors will come right back and come look for a job. That is what we're interested in. We are not interested in giving people another chance. Because no matter how long you kick or crocodile or laser, no matter how long laser stay in the water, it will never change to a crocodile. 12 years, no plans, you can't get it in the short time, and people don't waste your time. Nobody say Mr. Cummings, Mr. Bouaka don't have a supporter. Nobody say Mr. We don't have a supporter. We know this election will be tough, but I'm here to talk about myself. And I'm here to compare my candidates with the other people. So thank you. I think I answered it the best way possible. So we're not worried about Mr. Bouaka. We don't care if Mr. Bouaka want to run, but we'll not take the shortcut for anybody. Yourself, you dirty fool. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, this person is called Eric Harris. He said, yourself, you dirty fool. He started one little small child. Who you cussing me? Maybe it's, okay, put on another post there. Let me see again. Oh, don't tell him to leave. Let the post stay there. Let it stay there. uh, this could care less about, yeah, they could care less about JB, but we will make sure they follow the rules. That's it, though. Foreign, that's all we're telling them. Follow the rules. You want to lead, you want to be president, follow the rules. Don't run from your own problem you're causing. uh, anyway, Eric Harris, I think Emmanuel Colley answer your question. A lot of people answering your question too. Madeline, what's up? You fooling yourself, oh, Mr. Man. Okay, oh, you listening to me, oh, thank you. Let the man cost me, Christian. Let the man cost. Check your spelling yourself versus yourself. uh, oh Jesus, it's a fun sometime. This is the second time ADD security have done this. Yeah, they always beating people. Samuel Morris, he said, the ANC was a great party until you guys hijacked the party and turned it into a party of bunch of what? Gymnastics and what? Reactionaries. Well, if you say ANC was a good party, I never knew ANC. ANC has some good people in there, but apparently they were brokers, or apparently they sold the party, or maybe they did something else. So, Samuel Morris, I'm sorry. I can't help you anymore. So your past history you're giving, maybe the best person that will answer that question would be what, Kwame Clement. I don't know. You see, so I can't help you, my brother. I know you're speaking out of frustration. I understand that, but don't worry. You can stay and do what something else. You lie. He just want power. He lie. Will never help me. Milton, my man, you ain't not to talk. You can sound like real cheeky. 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 You lie. He just want power. He lie. Will never help him. His lies will never help him. Poor thing. Post something else again, man. I beg you. Ah, damn it. Y'all sound like real cheeky. Let me say again. You guys are power drunk. Okay. Let me dream a power drunk. Mm. Just watch me. Power drunk. Power drunk, yeah. You watch me. Oh. How can I get Mr. Cummings' number? My man, look at the kind of question the other boy asked me. Timothy, you expect to give Mr. Cummings' number? Mr. Cummings got his number. I got my number. You want to send something? Go on Mr. Cummings' website. If you send him a message, he will answer you. Trust me. Go on Mr. Cummings. Go on his page. Go to the ANC or you go to Alex Cummings. You see Alex Cummings' page. There's a message in there. Trust me. If you text him, if you send him a message, he will. And let me make you understand. Even if I get Mr. Cummings' number, man, let us be intelligent too now. Let us be intelligent. I myself, I don't just give my number out to people. Sometimes, but sometimes I give it to people. So if anybody want to talk to me, they know how to get me. But I'm telling you now, I will be honest with you. If you want to send a message to Mr. Cummings, go on his page on Facebook, click on the message, and just make your comment. Trust me, he will reply you. But I can't tell you. I'm gonna say I ain't got his number. Hey Milton, confuse ANC. At least we confuse. That's why we're serious. But the men are not confused. You guys are corrupt. If you beyond Joe, you corrupt. If you beyond Ure, you are extra criminal. If you beyond Joe Boaga, you stay sleeping. So they don't know who you to. So thank you very much, my brother. Just watch me. No, Christiana, I will not block them. If I block these people, they will not hear the truth. They know what I'm saying is truth. If look, I continue to tell you, it's good to have a dialogue. It's good. But if you can't come up with anything tangible, how would? In fact, Milton, I just sent you a link. Milton, I sent you a link. If you want to have a 2 minutes or 3 minutes debate with me, just accept the link and come on. Let Brompo can see your face. Yeah, I can't block them, man. Don't worry. Yeah, Achibo Frederick, I will not block them. Let them cause. They say I confused. I confused. No problem. He's still watching me. I confused. I'm keeping him alive. I'm keeping him alive. Oh, and I don't know about Randy. To be frank, Randy Dapo is my friend, and I will be honest with you. Dapo knows what he's doing. I sure maybe somebody reached out to him, but sometimes I tell Dapo, I say, my brother, today you support Mr. Cummings, the next day I hear different thing. You say this, and you know the problem with us when I started supporting Mr. Cummings, and you know Frederick, you started supporting Mr. Cummings. We never did it because somebody forced us to do it. But when I was doing it, I was doing it on my own. But what happened later on, I end up joining them so we can do it together. But there are a lot of guys out there who feel that they must do their own thing and they want that direct link. I agree. So I can't say anything because, and for me, I don't worry about who get the glory. Nobody gonna take nothing from me. So I don't care. I prefer bringing people in. I even, you know, it's so funny. Dabo said this today, the next day. So nobody know who he's supporting or whether he's supporting Mr. Cummings. The other day he was blasting the ANC people again. He said, "Oh, the ANC people are blah 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 blah. Only Mr. Cummings good." Then from there again, "Oh, Mr. Cummings not ready." And so, but now he's saying something again. So I just leave all that. I don't say anything to him that much when it comes to the ANC. Yep. Milton, you on your own. He said Alexander opposition is behind all those wickedness happening in Liberia today. He just pretending to be innocent, throw stones and hide his hand. Damn, I'm bloody. And Milton, you really enjoy me. Oh. Nobody gonna believe you. Even you go to Joey, I said, Joey, I won't believe you. Oh boy, frustration. Oh, I think the same question. Thank you, Fit Joy T. Richardson. Thank you very much. We all doing it together. It's not I alone. We all doing it together. But I appreciate it and I'm committed and nothing going to stop me. Man, don't worry about that name there. That name, when you type in it, only on my telephone and my computer, when I'm typing my name, it will not give me nothing different. Yeah. So don't worry about that name. That's the name there. That's me. Moses Nimpa. Where are you? And you talking plenty like this? I am home. Home, home, home. No matter what you guys say about Mr. Cummings, we love him and we'll vote for him. Yes, you see the guy she in Liberia now. Christiana live in Liberia. There are other people here watching me right now from all the way Liberia. And I see one person watching me from all the way Maryland County. So, okay, Moses, let open a church in Trenton. Yeah. You want to open a church in Trenton? I like that. Win or no win. Listen, the woman ain't called me yet, yeah? Yes, I'm telling you, under the Cummings administration, corruption will not see daylight. And you see, this is the biggest mistake that we made and will continue to make in Liberia. They want you to steal, then they arrest you. No. You must put things in place. Put the barrier, and stop all the little loopholes that will that allow people to steal. Technology. We need technology. How long it will take for us to computerize the entire system in Liberia? We need money to do that. Why you think Walmart or ShopRite putting self-check? Even in Wawa, they get self-check. When they put it, it's expensive to put in, but they benefit because they're not going to pay a lot of people anymore. So if we put in all these things that you just, when your license expire, you will get a notification and say, listen, my man, you got 3 months. Just imagine my license will soon expire. I already renewed it. My license will expire in June. I renewed it already. But in Liberia, you yourself got to look at your license to know that it expired and then you go renew it. So that's why the people stealing. That's why they are stealing. And trust me, corruption, right now, corruption driving Mercedes in Liberia, but trust me, corruption will not even get on the first bicycle. Corruption will just be hiding, hold it, they can't come outside. Thank you. Anybody, any good Liberians who want to see a better economy, a better look, corruption is our number one problem in Liberia. Corruption deprives you of everything that you want in a country. That is why Mr. Cummings is saying that my first priority, yes, it will be law and order, but my first priority in Liberia, I want to make sure that we will invest behind electricity, good drinking water, internet, and cell phone connectivity around the country. When you get a very good electricity, imagine the American government telling us that they tired spending money behind light. 60% of the lights, that little one they get, they're stealing it. And who doing it? Government official. I dare you now. I don't think Nathaniel Maggie paying light bill. Samuel Twana paying light bill. They all getting free light. I bet you. If Joshua want to be honest right now, let him check all his official and none of them paying light bill. They're not paying light bill. They're not paying light bill. Hey man, for just watch it and see. Watch it and see. Let them be doing that thing. How are you, Tonya? How's everything? Tanya. Moses Nipan. So ANC will bring in ALCOP, NDPL, LPP, LUP movie too. Well, I can't answer that question, but let me tell you, all the parties that you just call, I will be happy they can come in. Look, I don't think we'll have 22 candidates and parties this time around. There will be a lot of merger. There will be a lot of. I don't think we'll reach even 8 candidates in this coming election. Yeah, people understanding it. By this time, you're supposed to see them. Yeah, people talking right now to negotiate and do all kinds of things. So all these small parties, they ain't get money to run. NDPL, we know what NDPL said. We know NDPL member. So then I, it's not about bringing the name. It's not about bringing the name. If I would negotiate with any party, I want to see who you put out there. Not because they say NDPL. Where is NDPL? NDPL get party? They get members again? All the members gone. All of them going to and they going to Joshua party. You know that? So they can't go nowhere again. Loop. No, Loop is with United. Loop is not even. Loop is not a active party anymore. It was Loop, Action Party, and Unity Party went together. I think Loop went to Unity Party on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Movie is the is what his name said the former bank governor party. Yep, yep. So we'll bring people who want to join. Yes. I'm telling you, man, they do that all the time. Yep. Okay. You see that? Stylish kid. He said he's from Liberia. He said, I am a first time voter and decided to vote Mr. Cummings in any election. You hear that? The young people in Liberia, that is one of my, oh God, I wish. It hurts me every day. I watch children graduating from school. Some of they look. It's look. You won't believe it that young children graduating from University of Liberia now from other colleges in Liberia, but nothing to do. George, we are disappointed them. All these children are looking at George. We are say this man is the man. But you think George we are care? No, all about himself. They got up to 1 million young people who have not voted in Liberia. Remember this. That's why when I look at UP, we all were in the same car together. Nobody pushed them out. Nobody pushed them. Where my problem lies is that, look, the teeth and the tongue, they can force, but they stay in the mouth. Stay in the CPP, go behind closed door, beat each other up, and come back out with something. But instead, by the time they go to meeting, they come back, they call the other picking there who put his empty, his naked picture on Facebook. They will get a message, then they start cursing the other man. By the time they go to meeting, they come back, they report. We saw it on social media. Everything on social media. Mr. Bwaka, Mr. Wayne, he said, Ure wrote the Yombly, put it on social media. Mr. Cummings wrote Yombly to say, please do this. Yombly took it and gave it to the board and put it on social media. Amen. Taking that word damaging Cummings. And they confirm Darius Dillon. Darius Dillon said, my man, all the thing we do, my man, they got how to deal with. They brought all kinds of tactics. Let me tell you, I think you will shoot Mr. Cummings in the head. Because all kinds of tactics they brought. Mr. Cummings can't fall for it. Nothing will move him. They may have seen things that you guys have never lay out on before. You know what it means? To come from down and go all the way up. They will get high blood pressure, high blood. Okay, people always ask the question. This is thing here. Tier 1 is not part of the coalition. You see, the coalition tie people hands down. If Tier 1 join the coalition, if the coalition remain with only two parties, how are you going to do it? If Mr. Cummings was stay on his party like ANC by themselves, and then everybody on their own, then it's a different thing. You can't just take Tier 1 and leave the party. It got to be some coalition. So let people get this thing here clear. If Mr. Cummings was running on his own, if he go and talk to Tier 1 Gonglo, that means he bringing LPP in. LPP willing to merge with anybody? Where is the members of LPP? Let us be, listen, or Tier 1 will join ANC for Mr. Cummings to carry him. Or Mr. Cummings, Mr. Tier 1 can join the Liberty, the CPP, but all these things based on the strength of your party. So it's not just about taking Tier 1 Gonglo. It's not just about going to look for Lima Bowen. No. Right now you got two parties. You got Liberty Party, you got ANC. It's possible that ANC, Liberty Party can get out tomorrow and say, oh, I put in your candidate too. I want to leave the CPP. I won't go on my own. That's their right. So then there will be other options. So all these things here, let me tell you, by June, we will know everything that's going on. Don't worry. Relax yourself. You will get a candidate or VP. You will get whosoever need to be on the ticket. But one thing I know, that's it. So I don't know about Tier 1, but if you ask me, I would love to see Tier 1 on the team. It's a strong disciplined team right there. Okay, I don't know what you mean by I'm condescending to the voters that I need. Listen to me. Let me make this thing clear to guys today. You see, there's certain people in UP. Don't fool yourself. I've been around too long. There are people in UP you will never convince them to vote for Mr. Cummings. In fact, they said it. They sent messages. They said they'd rather go somewhere, but they would never vote for Mr. Cummings. There are people in CDC. They will remain in CDC. Whether you can tell and say, George, we are wicked. There are people even in the ANC that would never ever. That is why the Constitution make it clear. They say all you need to vote to win, all you need is 50 plus one vote. It's not a government or private school where they say they want you to score 80 to pass. No. They say they can get walking sticks, say you pass. 50 plus 1. So if you hear me talking to Mr. Bwaka supporter, then who they corrupt people them, we know plenty of them. Let me tell you today, most of them when they look at CDC, yeah, this CDC garden stealing. This CDC garden is stealing. Oh, yeah, our time will come. Some of them we know them. When time comes, we'll call their names. They say, oh, we can't join Mr. Cummings because if you join Mr. Cummings, my man, it will not be easy. Oh. The player here right now, that my interest, oh, yeah, interest involved. So I'm not condescending because people say because I want. Yes, they put a sort of vote for me. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to seditions, disenchanted seditions. I'm talking to you too. So don't say I'm not insulting nobody. I'm not trying to bring nobody down. I'm not bringing nobody down. Please. You think because I won't vote someone, I should just shut up and don't make the case. How in a while will make the case for Mr. Cummings and I don't talk about Bwaka and George Weah? Tell me. So that's the one who hurt your feelings? Eh? That is the one who hurt your feelings? You know how many people I can help too? You think I all the time I will help them? I must say I'm struggling too. So that means I shouldn't say the truth because I need vote. Because I need vote, I shouldn't say nothing. Yep. The ANC registration is already on. It's already on. If you go to ANC USA, you want to be, if you're in America, you want to join the global one. You want to go, if you're in Liberia, you go to the head office. They are going from place to place. They're doing it. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Oh, this guy is a soldier for Cummings, man. You see her on Randy. I saw you on Randy show the other day. Yeah. Yep. When you want to see Mr. Cummings, go to Jacksonville, Florida. River says pro, you on this guy again. What's up, Seattle Thompson? River says pro on your back. Everybody need to join that campaign. Everybody need to join that campaign. Everybody. 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 This is not about Mr. Cummings. This is about Liberia. River says pro. Second choice is Mr. Cummings. But before the election, by the time we get to the election, because he coming there small, he will vote for Mr. Cummings. So don't worry. Yeah, we're not worried about Mr. Oh, let me drink my tea. Yeah, when I'm mommy, I will get up by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Then tell the old man thank you. Then get my picking ready. Take him to the bus and get ready for it. Thank you. Oh yes, Abraham knows very well. Don't mind. I don't understand why they think that which is true. Abraham and myself, we're not in the same party, oh, but we gotta be respect for each other. Yes, sometimes I go out of character, but I still apologize to people and I still try to do my best. You see, what we don't know, we live out of Liberia. We came out here to learn something. You might get more degree than me. I could be having a better job than you, or you have a better job than me, or make more money than me. But the little one that I make is okay. The little one you make is okay. Also, it is your right to support anybody in Liberia. It is my right. But that because I supported Mr. Cummings, I should hurt your feelings. No. Look, at the end of the day, we still supposed to see each other. But our country is divided. As much as I criticize Mr. Boaka, I don't think I would want to insult Mr. Boaka. But one of the things, you call him criminal. So when you look at it, I told him, I can tell, okay, hide the feeling. I said, so criminals surrounding Boaka. It hides some people's feelings. I said, the people that surrounding Mr. Boaka, they are criminals. I would say that some of them were GM ministers before. Some of them, they were the same people who were criticizing other people under early regime. They were the same people. We all going to get old. We all going to get tired. But politics, I was one of the strong advocates for Mr. Boaka in the second round. And I said it, Prince, my witness, Prince Williams. Prince and myself started it, would say, I would love to see Mr. Boaka and Mr. Cummings ticket. They need to start talking now. But Mr. Boaka was not interested in running. Mr. Boaka had no interest. That ball he ball talking on the show, the ball with a big show in him, man. The guy who got a bigger talk show, the guy who with a naked picture, they had a naked picture on Facebook the other day. And the man got a naked picture on Facebook, man. He talked about it. He said, Mr. Boaka was not running. Everybody knew Mr. Boaka was not running. Mr. Boaka himself told people based on his health and whatsoever. And Mr. Boaka said it on 50-50. He actually, after the election, the stress, that's why he came to the hospital. And people don't know. People take it for a joke. The guy who get pacemaker can live for 20 years, 30 years. The guy who get pacemaker cannot make it. Stress, if it trigger you, poop, that's it. That's it. The late Christmas, which, yeah, they say Christmas had pacemaker. When Christmas came from Liberia, he did a surgery on his heart. They say he had a pacemaker. What kind of telephone call he received that triggered him up? That was it. We don't know. I'm not, don't take it from me. My friend had a pacemaker in Liberia, Jones Blamo. And he was in Liberia. With all the rigmarole. When Joshua suspended him for timing, definitely brought him back. He couldn't come around Joshua. Things were hard. He was just there. All that stress. Maybe that was K-Nabo. That's it. Pacemaker. But Liberian, the woman not there before. The woman is not. Nobody say he's crooked, this and that. Yeah, he's an honest man. But other people taking the advantage. Mongo J Sunshine, that's to me, you can say again. Let Cummings support President Weah, and we will support him in 20. Listen, Mongo J Sunshine Cheer, George Weah stepson. Listen to me. Let me take it from me now. And I'm speaking straight, put me on record. If Mr. Cummings don't win the election, Mr. Cummings will not participate in the 2029 election. If Mr. Cummings don't win this election that Mr. Cummings taking part in, we the Liberian people or supporters, had to even tell him, say, Mr. Cummings, no, you can't do it. Because he wanted to take part. He believed that he tried for the first time to win an incumbent. But because when the CDC government started messing up, we said, no, we can't let it go that way. We can't sit down for our country to go to the drain. Mr. Cummings will help you, please. We will help you. Come back in the race. Just for the last time. So, Mongoje, Mr. Cummings don't run. He win. He can't run 2029. 2029 will see new people. But if Mr. Cummings win 2023, 2029, let me tell you something. If Mr. Cummings win, Let me tell you, and I will take it. It's hold me on it. There are people who not supporting Mr. Cummings right now, and it's a free and it's a fact. That boy who get a big talk show, the boy they say he get a bigger talk show. I won't call his name because I don't want no fuss here. He said publicly and behind closed door, he said, my whole thing here is that I don't want for Mr. Cummings to win. If Mr. Cummings win, he will go 2 term. Because Mr. Cummings' his chances to fail is slim. It's very slim. Not from me. He confided into people and he talked about it. On his show, he didn't say Mr. Cummings' chances. He said he want to run 2029. Now, this is the thing here. Mr. Bwaka, if Mr. Bwaka the president, people behind Mr. Bwaka will start doing things and Mr. Bwaka might not take action, and he will have the authority now to bombard Mr. Bwaka and gain support for he to run 2029. But if Mr. Cummings win 2023, his chances for 2029 will not be there. But let me tell you today, if Mr. Cummings win 2023, take it from me, not every little Jack and Dick will want to run for president again. Listen to me. If Mr. Cummings win 2023, Mr. Cummings' chances of failing is 0.0.0.1. Yeah. Mr. Cummings, the first thing you can tell from people, because his character is what matters to him. It's not his money. His character is what matters. To see to it that Mr. Cummings believes that when he leave, his children or anybody without Cummings' name that related to him should have a clean path. I'm saying it, I'm taking it from his mouth now. I'm quoting him. That when he's not in power or he's not in this war anymore, whatever you do for yourself, it will die with you. But whatever you do for others and the world, it will remain as immortal. But the fact of the matter is that Mr. Cummings will do good. He will put Liberia into, because this is the first time I've seen politician. I have never, even Ellen Johnson, all they say, all the women are economists and this and that. Her whole campaign, Ellen Johnson said nothing but no economy. She explained nothing because they put out there. They didn't say nothing. Joey, I ain't saying that Ellen will say something. Mr. Cummings talk about the budget. Everybody was cussing. Oh, me from here, man. $1 billion. CDC carried to once. They carried to 785 million. The simple who criticize the mail, no time they carry the stock. The stock. Trust me now. That the only man who talking about security. Look at his release today. That the one you only see the release I put on when I started the show. You're reading. Because I know you're wanting for him to be talking. I put it up there so you will read it. This man talking about security. Mr. Cummings not in a business to take over, to take state power and bring all his people to come put in security. No. The ones who don't want to be there now, they will care that they will go. But we'll retrain them that security men will not be answerable to no bossman wife. No policeman will be houseboy. No policeman will be watchman. That's it. So my brother, don't worry about Mr. Cummings 2029. If he don't win it, he can go sit down. He will live with it. He will live with it. I'm telling you today. If Mr. Cummings don't win, he will live with it. It will be his story. But guess what? He will still chill with the big boys. He will still chill with other government. He will be doing normal business. He will help maybe thousands of people, but he will not help everybody. There are people in Liberia that still want for Mr. Cummings to help them. Mr. Cummings help everybody. Mr. Cummings got the highest Liberian scholarship in Liberia. Oh, y'all don't know that? Mr. Cummings got more students on scholarship in LU whatsoever than anybody in Liberia. Don't let nobody fool you. The Cummings Foundation got more people on scholarship. The Cummings Foundation supplies clinics, hospitals with medication. than anybody. So he's not president today, a history. And I can tell you for free, I'd rather go down with him or climb up with him. I either lose with him and that's it. If I can go against George Weah, let me tell you something today. George Weah is not my father, he's not nobody to me, he's just a friend. I was former IE team manager. I started fighting IE. Ready started following IE 1986. When Sitori, no, 86, 86, that was Sitori. When I used to dress to, yes, I used to sit there, I used to go sit on the IE bus. That time used to be the big burger man. We go on the football field. 90, 98, I became team manager for IE. So I know George Weah, and I got closer to him when the election started in America. Yeah. But I never campaigned for him. I refused to go because I knew that he couldn't just listen to people. He was not ready, but I supported him. But I noticed when he became senator, that is where I realized that. Thank God that Joshua ain't be president. Because at that time, if Joshua had to win the presidency, maybe Liberia never going to get up again. Because we're in a dungeon already. You know what I'm saying? George Weah, people show up to see George Weah. People they open their arms to Liberia like this. They open their arms to Liberia and stay. What happened? What happened? People come to Liberia. Look at Hilton Hotel. They went to Liberia and said, oh, they come and build a hotel. People laughing all over. Hilton just built a hotel in Guinea. When the people came, they signed a contract, they gave it. They didn't go back to Liberia again. So you see, Mongo J, it's not that we hate the government, but people are not ready. They take Liberia for a joke. They take Liberia for a joke. George, we had every opportunity than any president. In fact, there were people willing to come in to help. But our people, the corruption, the corruption, the corruption. Look in government today. Look at NPA. With all the information that came out with that scandal, they stealing the money, they bought on spoon. He showed all the paper. George, we are still got Wekube as a director. Look at Legis. The information is clear that the people misusing or the misappropriation whatsoever, stealing government money. Look at NEC. Look at Ministry of Agriculture. The Anti-Corruption Commission. They said this rumor did XYZ. Look at Health Ministry. The president still can take action. So who to blame? Yes, Emmanuel. He says 134. He said 134 is 2 o'clock now. Well, that's what you say. That's what you say, my brother. The Ghetto people still watching. Yep. Moving forward. I'm late. What's going on at the Ministry of Justice? It is very shameful. That's the fact. It's very shameful waiting to hear tomorrow. The Justice Minister gave the SG 72 hours to present all evidence against Mr. Cummings. Maybe tomorrow will be a good day, or maybe tomorrow could be a bad day. So that's it. That's it. Water, electric, food, technology, healthcare, education, infrastructure. These are some of Mr. Cummings' priorities, man. That's truth. The man saying that you're not lying. That's the fact. Oh, I see. And you see, all these things here is simple and fit. It's very. The government can do. The government. Look, I will tell you today. Look at New York. If the government of Liberia announced They say we open for business. If you tell a company, say, listen, if you invest in Bond County or in Lofa, in Maryland, we will give you 10% tax break. But it mean that you're not going to pay taxes. But if you're supposed to pay $10 every month, they will tell you, say, listen, but you will pay $5 every month for 20 years. So they only extend a year and you still pay certain taxes, but they give you a break. If you can invest in Lofa County, not everybody come to Morovia. Oh man, the thing easy, man. I know, but oh, you talking easy. No, government not nothing big. Come okay, Arthur Fremont. You know, it's sad when people make a blanket statement. Arthur Fremont, he added a second Fremont because I know what he park on him. He said Cummins is too power greedy to have Tier 1 Gonglo as his running mate. Now, when you look at Arthur Fremont, right there you would tell that either he's a Joe Boaga supporter or he from the other side of maybe Yombly or Ure. He's not a sedition, but he pretending to be someone who neutral. How can you call Mr. Cummins power greed? When you people trying to use him, you're calling him power greed. So if you say Mr. Cummins of power, he power greed, what about Mr. Boaga? Mr. Boaga who still want to be president? And you say Mr. Cummins power greed. If Mr. Cummins is power greed, then how will you call Mr. Boaga? Because Mr. Boaga was vice president for 12 years and he contested and he came back and he wanted them to give it to him. Then you say he not power greed? I thought Fremont, man, you yourself, you out of your head. Trust me. Mongo just said Mr. Fremont, Mr. Cummins will be president in ATL 2023 and President Weah will be in Labrador. President Weah might not even run. Let me tell you those things. President Weah in all kinds of mess. My brother saying you don't know. Let teach your little sense and put small little brains into your head. You say Mr. Cummins will be something in Atlanta. Mr. Cummins live in Liberia. This is just a sarcastic remark. I want to make you dummy and stupid. When I say that, now you're trying to insult you. But it sounds stupid. It's just a sarcastic remark that you're making. How in the world Mr. Cummins will be president in Atlanta? Ask your dumb self the question. I see why you call yourself Sunshine. The name Sunshine, the only Sunshine I will tell you about, and they used to win that Sunshine Yellow Balls. But you using your name Sunshine, that Joshua name Sunshine, you know he dull. You know Joshua is very, very dull. And you using his middle initial. And your name Chie, crew ball, or basketball. Because my name Kishen. So I know the next time you say I'm a damn Lebanese man. Anything you want to say. But I just hate to see people who you are all nice, but you guys are just dumb, man. That the life you will live every day. You know when business serious is serious. How Mr. Cummins will be? How Mr. Cummins will be in Atlanta? Don't say you're joking, self. But how Mr. Cummins will be in Atlanta? Eh? Or because you there? Jay Blamo. You see, Jay Blamo, then you're trying to misinterpret what people say. You're trying to misinterpret. Nobody, I'm a Christian. And then I disagree to me. I think it's a disrespect. If you telling me that, oh yes, I will, Mr. The Messiah mentality. Well, nobody told you say Mr. Cummins or Messiah. Nobody told you that. But Mr. Cummins is honest and clean. Then all the politicians like, bro, is that a problem? They put a false information. They say Mr. Cummins finger document. Let a man who work hard for his money never get a penny from government one day. Then you say we shouldn't say that he clean. That wanna make a vessel. We shouldn't say he clean. The place the man work. He ain't working no fuller man shop. He ain't working mom and pop store. He worked to the place where he started from scratch and moved all the way to the top. Forget about Coca-Cola. Forget about Coca-Cola is among the first 500 companies in the world. Fortune 500. One of the richest company in the world, almost like a government. So let us be honest, man. Let us be frank. He was not just heading one little small place in the country. He was heading Coca-Cola financial department, chief financial officer for the entire Coca-Cola. People, listen, man. Don't do this. Don't do this. I believe Liberians, the citizen, must be the change they seek. The citizen must be actual participant in the noble task of nation building. J. Blamo, don't speak the don't put a post here like you coming to give a speech here. The only man that will get citizen involved, that comes. The only man who said we, that Josh, we are there talking about I did this, I get it 1 year, I built it 1 year, I built this, I gave you all the sports, the playground, I built another one, I doing this, I get everything That's why the citizen are participating. But under Cummings administration, the citizen, and let me tell you today, ask anybody in Liberia, everything that Cummings doing in Liberia, that the house he built, whatsoever, is all Liberian contractors. He ain't got to show nothing, he ain't got to pretend. He don't have to pretend. Mr. Cummings don't even show to so when he get property, that wouldn't want to just see it and put it and talk about it. So what for he is for him. But I would tell you, Mr. Cummings, he's a nationalist. He believe in other people. When it come to Liberia, Mr. Cummings put Liberia first than any foreigner. I could tell you, your team is your team. Yeah, you ain't see nothing here. So J. Blamo, I understand other people lie to us. They took the citizen out. The government must get the citizen involved. We all know that. I will not blame the citizen for everything, because for anything, it's almost like you got your kids in the house. If you don't control the kids, if you don't talk to them, if you don't train your kids out, it will be on you. We got a government that's supposed to implement the laws of the land to make sure that everybody abide by the law no matter what happens. Little justice not supposed to know nobody. Yeah, Blamo, please. Look at the other one. He said, let him win Sir Joseph first. What we got to do with Sir Joseph, my people? Yeah. Sometimes I just want blacks on you guys, but I just like to see you that. Oh, seriously. Sir Joseph running for president now? Thank you, Sria. Thank you. Thank you. If Mr. Cummings win, we set it too hard. I want to put scare. You see, you said what Peter just wrote here, and Mongo J. He said it straight up. And I said it, and I talked about it the other day. I said, listen, let's put the politics business aside. My fear, whatever they're doing to Cummings, they will do it to us. When you live out of Liberia and you go home, some of us here now today, my sister died. My sister got a place that she was building. Her son got the place. Somebody from America went there and bought the land. The information here, they say the man know Maggie. The boy, my nephew went with the deed. They got the older deed. They still pushing the kid around. We go say no way. I said, no problem. When you come on this side, no. The country is so corrupt. The man building. Now tomorrow, God forbid. You know, land, it almost like the late Galawolo. He did it to one woman. The woman still get her land back. Tomorrow now, you finish building your little nice house, and we still pursue the case. Then like people say, oh, you just go compromise the man and buy a house. No. That the one that will bring bulldozer and break it down. The justice system is bad. Where in the world you will carry someone to court, you say are charging you in this country, that they don't listen to, they say, I can't just walk to the court and say Peter Brown. They will bring Peter Brown first, but they will investigate. Investigate. Make sure you get proof to prosecute the person. But you go to the place, you say the person will bring the paper. You thought the person say, okay, there, yeah. Then no. I want to. I will bring the other person here. I will bring 25 more person. I will bring 17. Everybody from NEC will come and testify. That case will go next year. Or government saying it. It's not fair, my people. So thank you, my brother. We might not be in the same party, but sometimes we need to say these things. Eh? Let somebody text me. I should come up and say Darius Dillon beat the people. No. If Darius Dillon supporter or security man whip somebody, he faced the law. But I can't tell you that Darius Dillon send a man. I don't know that Darius Dillon send a man. So I can't. The man was not on duty when it happened. So we got to be very careful. What's up, Rose? No, man, I will curse you. Okay, Mongo J, stop it. No, Plamo. Now I agree with you. People said that Ellen Johnson, for me, I never had. Ellen Johnson was tied to corruption. Ellen Johnson, even when she was running for president, her declaration of asset. Maybe if you guys look at it, you will tell that Ellen Johnson was damn broke. Ellen Johnson had corruption behind her from Talbot time. I'm sure you were around the OAU. You remember the ship that time when they be the ship that she brought. She and Mr. Talbot, President Talbot, fell out before the coup. So people at the time were looking at Ellen Johnson. Oh, Ellen Johnson, this. But that's what we need to know here today. Mr. Cummings, the only Liberian who retired officially from his job and in Liberia living and running for president. Mr. Cummings moved to Liberia. Mr. Cummings retired. They had a whole big retirement program for him before he got into politics. The status of Mr. Cummings, if any of our corrupt politicians was in that thing, where in 2005 and whatsoever, they will run and say they won't run because they got small money from Coca-Cola. When they lose, they go back to Coca-Cola. But Mr. Cummings waited. He served 20 years. He invests enough. He got out. He retired. Mill Jones never retired. Ellen Johnson never retired before running for president. And Joe Buakan never retired before going as VP or whatsoever. He never retired from any job. Nobody, even Daniel Cassell, never retired. He still worked. Despite he got his offices, he still worked at his own business, but he working actively. Actively. Government paying him. He working for somebody. He got an office, but he working for somebody. He worked for he do the Medicaid stuff. That his own office, but they get money from most of them are Medicaid. So who in Liberia retired from the job? Joshua retired from soccer. Talent, that his talent failed, he finished. He make money, he was not working. So who retired? So Mr. Cummings retired. Mr. Cummings, whether he president or not, he living. Some people say, but he ain't forced to be president. No, not like he forced to be president. When the government is bad, then it encourages people to run. If you're a good citizen and you know yourself and you see that the government is bad and the government continue and the governance is so bad and you know yourself, notice it, all the Liberians that do good, all the Liberians that actually successful, they got good jobs in America, the workplaces, when they go home, the difference, sometimes they don't survive. People try to push them aside. Oh, you're too much, you're this and that. But they work in a place where, you see. So it's not because Ellen Johnson Then Mr. Cummings, oh yeah, we heard a thing before. Mr. Cummings said this. Ellen never said it. Ellen never, no politician in Liberia telling us or they told us what Mr. Cummings telling us today. No. Mr. Cummings has been very consistent since 2017. His message on corruption, his message on development, his message on agriculture, his message on creating jobs, he's consistent and he's serious about it. He's serious about it. He's not joking. No, I'm not misinterpreting you. I'm saying it. But where I will disagree with you, Jay, when you said we shouldn't bring the Messiah thing like Mr. Cummings is the only plain man. He's some people think that we take Mr. Cummings different. Mr. Cummings is not different. But when we compare all the candidates, what we're trying to say that Mr. Cummings stand up different from all the other guys. But people don't like us to say it. That one post there put you can when you look at some post say Mr. Cummings are criminal, Mr. Cummings this, Mr. Cummings dishonest, Mr. Cummings power greed, Mr. Cummings. How can you say oh man power greed when other people running for power? So I'm not trying to misinterpret or what I agree with what you're saying, but when you put that Messiah theory that people think that Mr. Cummings is all that, he's the magic. No, no, no. Mr. Cummings always say that if I'm president, it ain't mean that things will change overnight. No, it will be hard thing, but the fact of the matter is that at least we'll get a leader that will tell us the truth. We got a leader, the man telling us already. We all we got to make the sacrifice. We got to do this. But at the same time, government officials got to make more sacrifice. That's what he's saying. So we almost the say the but I'm not trying to misinterpret your stuff. What you're saying is perfect with the citizens, but then again, we make our citizens look as if they are responsible. No, our government supposed to make these people know that this is your responsibility. Look at civic. Thank God they say they just brought civics back to. They say they're trying to bring civics back into the school. The citizens don't even know their role. They think that government supposed to go into the backyard and clean up the place. They don't know their role. That's why some of them don't vote. That's why some of them will leave the district and sell their vote in the other district. And then they get the worst representative in their own district. They don't know. But when people lecture them and tell them, maybe they will change this time around. So Bwaka, it's not an entitlement. Being vice president for 12 years staying guarantee you that you must be president. Anybody can run for president. Oh, okay, okay. You're talking about forget about how. Well, hey, Nicosta, I beg you, man. So I just will beat about that market door. So I tell you, the only thing you must say agree on here. Mongo J, don't worry. I cost you just now. Sorry. I ain't cost you, say I know what I'm getting, what I'm telling you sorry for. But anyway, sorry. So at least we make friend again. Yep. Look, you said it right. Joseph Boaka have ran and even Tewon Gonglo worked in the government. He and Ellen fell out. He left for his own reason that Ellen was corrupt. So other people did other things. But I will tell you, most of the politicians, the old guys, the guys then who causing the problem are the one who confusing our people and saying that oh that commits man, don't matter man, that they're creating problem. And let me tell you something. Tomorrow, if they drop the case from Mr. Cummings, we stay expecting another case. You know why? We heard it already. Some of them think that they can take us to court and delay the process. Maybe because we brought it up, so they're not talking about it again. UP and all plan to go sue Mr. Cummings. I'm breaking it up to y'all. Even CDC. There's another one, the little small riot that took place the first day Mr. Cummings went to court. Don't you know they blaming Mr. Cummings? They're trying to sue Mr. Cummings. They say Mr. Cummings security and no cities, ANC people and United Liberty Party crash. That particular day, they clash. They clash. I know they say one policeman got hurt and whatsoever. They blaming Mr. Cummings again. So everything at Cummings, everything at Cummings, yeah. So just the beginning. We expecting anything, and this is what most of the African government doing to get rid of their strongest opponent. They use the court system. It happened in Senegal. Macky Sall got rid of the stronger opponent against him. The man fell in some kind of ambush, and they took him to court and they jailed him because that's a businessman now, and they put him in jail. So in Liberia, now you're very careful. You look at a woman too hard, a woman say you rape her, you on your own. Yeah. Oh. Sir Joseph too strong now. In our Maserado. Moses. Okay. The boy afraid of Cummings, man. Don't mind him. I am a free thinker. Joseph Newman Boaka opportunities, as he said. He's old car parking in a garage. I mean, that paper car stay there. I think the engine says that. You don't remember? He said, imagine Ellen parking a race car. But Ellen parked that car for what? For 12 years. That car engine gave a long time. Long time. Okay, guys. I'm getting ready to go to bed now. I know I kept you up for so long. You're sorry, huh? You're sorry. All right. You see, I see why I'm not sleeping. This is an energy drink. Nice drink. No sugar. No calories, no sugar, no carbs. Black raspberry. It's nice. Tasteless. I will not sleep this. Okay, guys. You all want me to play the interview with? Okay. Let me. Y'all read it. Y'all read the release now. I'm going to play the release so you can read it. What Mr. Cummings said today. We'll put a release up about Joshua. So read it. But before that, okay, let me just put it. You guys have a good day. God bless you. And I will not play the interview. If I play the interview now, maybe I will waste too much my air time. And when it finish, it will just be running. I'm pushing my cartoon right now, and the show got me up. I'm going to say I just from pushing my cartoon, man. The post say we can push cartoon. Okay, Cecilia S. Yakpawolo. Let me make you to understand today. Mr. Cummings is not a gay, and he had never been a gay in his life. Mr. Cummings a Christian and believe in a man and a woman. But let me make you understand. I want you to go to YouTube. If you don't know, I will explain to you. I want you to give me a few time. Mr. Cummings had an interview. You know, that's the one with Liberians. Lack of information kill a lot of people in Liberia. Lack of Mr. Cummings in America. When they asked Mr. Cummings that question, don't take it from me. I want you to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. There was an interview. Mr. Cummings said, and I quote, he said, this is something I struggle with. How can a man and a man marry? Listen to me. So what they did, they took the other when they said, Mr. Cummings said, this is something I struggle with. Finish. Mr. Cummings said, this is something that I struggle with. For a man to go out with another man, Mr. Cummings is married with two kids, 3 grandchildren. And guess what? The status of Mr. Cummings, although they got people in America, they say on the down low, it's not Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings coming from I don't want to say because his father was a priest or whatsoever. But Mr. Cummings, let me make you understand. In fact, Mr. Cummings answered the question one time on Seku TV, on Seku show. He said, if I will not marry, I will tell them to send a woman to me to try. Everybody got vexed. But the man who got the right question was Kev Hassan when they went to Liberia. While they were sitting with Mr. Cummings, Kev Hassan asked the question. And Mr. Cummings gave him the right answer. Man, Mr. Cummings is not a gay. Lesbian business been in Liberia long time to get lesbian there today. There plenty in Liberia. Mr. Cummings getting there. We had gay in Liberia. And let me make you to understand. A real gay, you saw Robert Salif. Nobody knew that Robert Salif was gay. When Robert Salif went to Liberia, in less than 1 year, everybody knew that Robert Salif was a gay. Robert Salif started sleeping with the late children, even including the government official, the Minister of Education, and what, and not hating. But gay business being in Liberia, if Mr. Cummings was a gay, you would know. Learn something for yourself and start being used by a stupid and corrupt politician to look at a decent human being. If Mr. Cummings was a gay, I would not support him. I'm making it clear today. The man who said Mr. Cummings was gay, he came on radio, he make a whole show, he was apologizing. Obey. What one you want to hear? Go on YouTube and go listen to that damn story. This is what I struggle with. For a man and man to marry, how they manage? Why you even ask Mr. Cummings? It almost like they got a Taylor tree company. Liberians will lie. When Charles Taylor was running today, I never knew. They got a tree company in America called the Taylor Tree Company. They posted that tree company in Daily Observer. They say that Charles Taylor Company in America. They got a Cummins stuff here. They say that, and the Cummins spell Cummins. One of my friends, may he so rest in peace, they call him Shedwin. The other guy jump and he say, oh, my man, your man gets some kind of pin company in America. Sherwin Williams, the same name, Sherwin Williams. He died now. Somebody that time was in Liberia, the man say, oh, my man, your man gets some kind of place. The man want to go, and the funny part, Sherwin want to go buy a pin that day. And he too, he can visit. He first time come to America. Mr. Cummings will be gay. That means he really can hide it. Yeah. To prove what? To prove what? In Liberia, all the gay that there, how will you say gay will be? You think Mr. Cummings, the man say he believe in man or woman? That's what the Bible says. How many times you answer the question? Is that relevant? Cecilia S. Shagbawulo from all the way Lufa County or Bopolu or Bon County or whatsoever. Your government, where Joseph Boakai was vice president for 12 years, the president's son was sleeping with all the young boys. You ain't see that one there. You ain't see that one there. You supported the UP state. Even Madam Ellen Johnson said if she married, all the news, they say the woman are lesbian. That mean put it there. All of them, other people know. She will marry. You're not politics, business. You better go and do your own research. That one, someone also will always be ahead of you guys. But we need to stop it. We need to respect people. If he's a gay, I will not support him. I will not support him. I am a Democrat, but I don't support gay too. Let me tell you, me understand here. I don't hate gays, but I will not support you Because that's my own belief too. I believe that you should be man and woman. Sometimes my wife myself will say, somebody I'm saying, support your son. I say, if my son, I would denounce him. That's my belief. So we need to stop it. We need to stop it. At least I little comfortable because I live in America. But in Liberia, I never had a gay friend we talk. But I can understand Liberians. Why would just look at somebody and put one other pastor got in mind to say, my man Mooney, you think we come in get gay president? I told him straight, I said, you more worse than anything because you're a fake pastor. And at the same time, we get plenty of fake pastors. They got plenty of fake pastors. God will punish all the one that will die whole day. Seriously. Sometimes you can really get, you can put so Cecilia S. Yagbawolo, please. He's not a gay. And the president of Liberia had no power to legalize gay or lesbian marriage in Liberia. Liberia is a small place. We call for that. You in a damn your man you supporting, Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai, George Weah government, the damn gay and lesbian thing they're doing there. The gay and lesbian thing they're doing there. You come in trouble, the lesbian or gay will take over Liberia. Your government you support a UP. The president's son was a damn gay, sleeping with all the children there in that town there. Rabbi Salif. Why Boakai ain't leave? Why Boakai ain't resign? Why y'all supported Ellen Johnson? Eh? You better go do your own research. Trust me. Jay Young is not nothing joke. We'll do it. I'm telling you, Moses, these people there will open their brains and shop everything inside sometime. You're right. Some of the questions, some of the things they bring, it make no damn sense. Eh? Let somebody tell me, sit down, I can't waste my time when Darrell Dillon security be somebody to say, oh, that Darrell Dillon did it. No, I don't waste my time on that one there. I yet to promote one man is Mr. Cummings and tell you exactly because then we had to learn as a job, you must go to the people and talk to the people. But some people bring something out that will help Liberia for God's sake. Eh. Okay, guys. Let me play the release a little bit. I will play my Kapow song. Y'all have a good day, good morning, good night, good afternoon. Enjoy yourself. God bless you. I pray for you. Pray for me. You chase a black car in a day. The car is so black in a small little village. Hot sun. You won't find it. You will not find it in the night. If you go into the bush to pick your juju, to pick your own medicine, be careful the one you bending down to that somebody own medicine. Time trap not for rat alone. And I will take the one from Imaya Koto. No matter how long laser stays in the water, it will not turn to crocodile. No matter how long we turn George Weah around, he will not change the system, yeah? George Weah is the 25th president of Liberia. It's in history. We'll never change it. Come 2023, we'll remove him peacefully, not by force, by the same ballot box. In every election, first term, the people gave you first term. Second term is on you, your work. George Weah can build roads. They say you got 10 subjects. You only pass 2, you fail. You pass 3, you fail. So putting the park down, the playground, paving the road, yes, we love it. It's a good park. The park is beautiful. But it's a stay political stunt because you make everything all about you. Oh, yes, if we tell you, say, President, we are not paving the road, President, we are not helping. All these projects were projects that was already highlighted and earmarked. The money was already there. Government continues. You don't see Joe, we are breaking no ground in Nimakande. That road was already going through. You don't see Joe, we are breaking ground in Maryland County. That road was already in progress. Only two roads that George we have went to, and this that was the Doe Community Road to clean it up, and another one the rehab. I think that the rehab road, right era. That's it. All the other roads, the project was on. The project and Ellen Johnson signed the project. The money was already there. That's not government money. So they're not job we are thing. But government continues. So if it finish under here administration, that's it. If it ain't finish, the next person that come there will continue. So the people life change? No. Are the people safe? No. You guarantee safety? No. If the president can tell you, say everybody should get CC camera, that means the country is bad. But the government is capable. If they want to help, they could put CC camera in the street too. In certain area. Schools, bad. Everything bad. Corruption is at the highest ever in our history. Human rights record is bad. People are dying with no justice. Yeah. So come 2023, my people, don't get vexed. Vote. Don't just talk. Vote. And for you to vote, you must register. So guys, on Sunday we're starting our show. Who is Cummings? Who is ABC? You answer the question, you will get $10. Meaning from Liberia. We'll be talking about the Constitution, your rights to vote. What is your right? What is your responsibility? So we ask question concerning. We ask you question from the Constitution. I will ask you question from Cummings plans. His 5 watts. I will play it, and I will ask you question from there. And I will ask you question about Mr. Cummings. What year you think he was born? How long he worked for Coca-Cola? Uh, 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 what they said, what Article 17 talk about, what Article 25 of the Constitution talk about. So all these things, and, which are the article you will find you will talk about uh, uh, my right to assemble. All these things. What they say about Article 61 about the president. What they talk about citizenship. What is the role of the citizen? Well, when you're supposed to be how many years old before you vote? And, so all these things we ask. So I will ask it by Mr. Cummings. Or somebody say I should ask who fingered the document. I will ask you too. Because plenty people will fail that one. Plenty of people will fail that one. Who fingered the document? Mr. Cummings, you fail. Because you got to give me proof now. You got to give me proof. Who fingered the document? Nobody fingered the document, as far as I'm concerned. Who took Mr. Cummings to court? If you tell me, say the government take Mr. Cummings to court, then you fail too. Because URE took Mr. Cummings to court. Who's supposed to prosecute the case? Who delaying the case? If you tell me URE, then no, that the government. And, So, guys, and I want to say thanks. I got my first, and what his name? Foreign guy. I will announce my sponsors before the show, in the middle of the show, and then at the end of the show. I also got another sponsor in Trenton, the Car Prince and African shop, but we say Jiwa. So, and I get my Wolo who's supposed to send something else. He said he will send $200. So you see, we're getting there. Then plus my late $3, and the guy gave me 305. It's something I just want to keep the people abreast. I know some people want to steal my show. In fact, and the CEO said that I try to copy him because he got something. God can bless anybody, So, but on the same Sunday, so no problem. Maybe as time goes by, we extend it, and I will talk to him. Maybe I can switch on to Spoon and air my stuff that same Sunday. I will talk to him. I was my man invite me on the show, man, so I can ask some questions and the people can call, maybe, and I will advertise it there too. So we can use anything. Oh, you might not worry. Oh. No, you're not wrong to ask. You're not wrong. Don't get me wrong. Although I was saying it, but I was not talking to you directly. I wanted you to know these things. But the question you ask, if Mr. Cummings win, lesbian and gay, but you're supposed to know that they get plenty lesbian in Liberia already. Plenty. They're not hiding it again. This girl who to house to National Bank, Nimale Pearson, she's not hiding, she's a gay. They got plenty gay in Liberia. Plenty lesbian. Why Mr. Cummings MOB honor Mr. Cummings? This is the question you ask. This thing here, when you say, do you think when he become president, gay and lesbian business would not take over Liberia? That means you already you say you think it will not take over Liberia. That means you already accusing of being gay. So if you're going to ask the question, Mr. Kishen, or you don't have to call my name, is Mr. Cummings or gay? Can you please explain the thing to me? Because I heard people saying that Mr. Cummings are gay. Then I will answer you to my living God. I will not check you up. But according to your question, maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think when he becomes president, gay and lesbian business will not take over the country? That means you already believe that Mr. Cummings is a gay. So I tell you, if they men take over, the lesbian business and gay will take over because the men are gay already. That's it. So don't confuse me here. Man, people, you please look at the question. This question is telling me that Mr. Cummings is a gay. So don't you think when he win, gay and lesbian business will take over Liberia? That's why I'm trying to tell you he's not a gay. And then I tell you, there are a lot of gay and lesbian already in government, from Ellen Johnson time all the way. In fact, John Totman them, Dika Dishi, all these people were gay in Liberia. So you telling me that Mr. Cummings is a gay? You believe it that he's a gay? That's why I say go back and do your research. Go and check on YouTube. In fact, I didn't just download it on my place. But the question again, I will say it. Mr. Cummings, are you going to encourage gay and lesbian? You encourage gay in Liberia? The man said, this is something that I'm struggling with. How can two men marry? But they took it from there. They say, Mr. Cummings said, yeah, this is what I'm struggling with. Mr. Cummings answered the question not like a politician. Simple. He answered like the way anybody could answer. Like in America, if you tell somebody now, say, oh, so you don't think gay need to have the rights? If you say no, you're in trouble. But because you want people to look at you, you don't want to make them feel bad. You say, well, everybody has a right. Everybody are like Americans. They pay taxes. So I don't have any problem. The guy said, I don't have problem with gay. I don't, as much as I don't want gay in my family. Listen, he said, I'm a Christian. I believe in a man and a woman marriage. I don't want a gay in my family, but I got no problem with gay. Gay has the right. Gay can get married. They entitled, you change the whole that politics. So man, I would not that you the one ask the question. That's why I answered that day. So don't say whether you are wrong. You were wrong to ask the question the way you ask it. I said you are wrong. So that one that I know. Yes. So my question now to you, yes. You could ask the question the best way, but you were wrong the way you asked the question. But anyway, at least I'm happy that you understand it. So I stay invest with you. Ask if Cummings U.S. citizen. Come for Henry. Ask if Cummings U.S. citizen. If yes, Joia should be impeached for voting under pretense, not naturalizing immigrant. Listen, somebody who talking about Cummings and the citizenship. As far as concerned, the first citizen, naturalized citizen will be president Liberia. I think like Ellen Johnson, then George Weah. Don't you know that? But listen, my people, please, I just don't want us to act. There was a law This body called JALO sued the Liberian government for the same citizenship. The Supreme Court interpreted the law. The Supreme Court said no one can deny Liberians the citizenship. You can go anywhere and naturalize that your business. You are a Liberian. This is how people say you're now a citizen. When you go up and put your hands up and honor oath and say, I pledge that as of today's day, I'm not a Liberian citizen, blah, 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 blah. Some of us naturalize not because we want to naturalize. Some of us came to the country, it took us 10 years to naturalize. We refuse to naturalize. But I cannot work, and don't get my benefit too. No way. Certain benefits are needed. But guess what? When God gave me long life, I will retire in Liberia. Our children, some of them will not go home, especially when you're born in here. President Weah's son, who's supposed to be a Liberian, playing for the American national team. President Weah's wife, who is an American, voted in Liberia 4 times. She's a Liberian citizen. How she did it? But she voted in Liberia 5 times. She voted the first time in a runoff and in a something, so that 2-4. She voted in the Senate. Then she voted this time around. So she voted 5 times. 5. The first election was 2. In the first round, the second round, she voted 2 times. In the 2023, she voted 1 time. They were not in the second. They were not because Joshua didn't show up. In the senatorial race, she voted. In this election, that going election, she cast a vote again. Listen, she voted that time. She also voted again in the 2020 election. But she's not a Liberian citizen. But she married to a Liberian. Why would you do this to ourselves? Then you're looking at a Liberian who mind and power. So you're scaring us. So some of that will foreigner too. Because you can call Mr. Cummings. Because Mr. Cummings naturalized long time, Joshua naturalized in France. Before he naturalized in America. Why you think they took Joshua to court for child support? Why? Because he got document here. Because he got document in this country. That's why he refused to show up. If Joshua never obtained American passport, I must never sleep today and get up. If Joshua never obtained it, but he's a Liberian citizen. He's a Liberian citizen. Every one of us here, excluding our children who are born here, let us stop playing this kind of politics about the man contested last time. Oh, that man will not run. I will see to it he don't run. That other PP part that he picture all you don't see him, you go take out Tracy. He ain't all talking about somebody's citizenship. He fought to get green card. And after 5, he will naturalize to your mind. Yes, you want to say something? You call so you can end it up for me. I'll show you got my number, and Moses. Lincoln, what's up? From all the way Ganta, Nimba County. Thanks again, Lincoln, for the show. I followed you the other day. Moses, you got my other number. Let me see. What's up, man? Oh, not bad, my brother. Nothing much. I was just getting ready to wrap up. I've been seeing your comments. But you can give me your comments and then I can close up from there. So that's everything with you. What you got to tell me, brother? Give me some information that I don't know.
Well, you might let noise. Yeah, you let noise. First of all, let me say thank you for the program. You know, I've been following. I've been listening carefully and learning. Sometimes we can we can afford to now write, especially when people start to say things, whether it's from Mr. Cummings, whether it's from Mr. Waka, whether it's from Yuri or whatever it is.
Yeah.
As long as people start to come out to make statements that are out of order, I think it's our responsibility as Liberians, to state the facts. That is the most important thing. If we want our country to move forward, I don't care whose favor it is. So I was tempted to write, and every time we're having this kind of conversation, we always be tempted to call into to contribute because we want this country to move forward. My attention is driven to the change that we want. Let me say this to everybody listening to us, whether you're for Unity Party, whether you're for CDC, whether you're for Mr. Cummings, whether you're for ALP, whether you're for whoever you can be for, it doesn't matter. Let me say this, and we all can think about it. For the past 15 years, since Charles Taylor left the country, since the 2005 election, there have only been 4 people that have ran the country. 4 people that have ran the entire country. That is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Joseph Yuma Boakai, George Weah, and Joel Howard Taylor. Those 4 people have ran the country. 4 of them, go check the record. 4 of them ran the country. Ellen ran the country. She and Joseph Boakai for 12 years. They ran it for 12 years. President George Weah and Joel Howard Taylor, they ran the country for almost 4 to 5 years. So think about it now. I even cut the number down to say 15 years.
Yeah.
I even cut the number down. We're talking about 17 years.
17 years, yeah.
17 years. So within these 17 years, there have been no war. Just imagine if you have a child that was 17 years old. Just imagine if you give birth from 2005 to today, your child will be 17 or 18 years old.
Yep.
And if that child, think about it now. If that child, you have opportunities to send that child to school. That child, you provide all the opportunities, cannot make use of the opportunity. The child is 17 years today. Don't you think as a parent you start being worried that child will be on liability to you or on liability to the community? Don't you think so?
By that time, that child will be in high school by now.
Exactly. Yep. But if that child misses all the opportunity that child has, don't you think that child will be on liability? But let me bring this to Liberia. If 17 years ago, today, we have now moved forward, the country has now moved forward, you think bringing Joseph Yuma Boakai back will make the country to move forward? No. You think re-electing John Weah will make the country to move forward? You really think so?
Nope.
Think about it. Think about it. You really think so? Nope. The same way that John Weah lied to us and fooled the Liberian people that when we gave him power, he was going to change things. When John Weah took power, John Weah, before he could take power, he lied to us and said they were going to bring the economic war crime court to hold everyone accountable. They made everybody got into that view and that momentum to go and vote for him.
Yep.
But John Weah took over. John Weah changed his story, he changed his tone. Let me tell you something. Anybody, any man or woman who is saying Joseph Boakai will prosecute Ellen, your common sense is not working, no disrespect to you. Because if Joseph Boakai will prosecute Ellen, then he's prosecuting himself.
Yep.
Because let me tell you something. All of the brown envelopes that went to the legislature, to the senators and the representatives, it was Joseph Yuma Boakai who carried it.
Yep.
I say it, quote me on it. Joseph Yuma Boakai carried them. He the one carried them. You see it? There was no deal that was done in Liberia like Joseph Yuma Boakai's signature is now on. Go check the record. Per our constitution, the vice president will sign. The president will sign on deals before they go into law. So you see what's happening. Yeah. So y'all want to carry us back. What kind of people we are? I'm not here to say vote for Cummings, vote for Tawan, whoever it is. I'm a business. I'm not running campaign for nobody. But I'm saying to you, at least let's have a reflection. Let's have a reflection as a people. We won't move the country forward, or we just won't get the country to people. Let us keep playing with us, playing our intelligence. While we are getting old and our children are getting old. You tell us so that we can know what you want to do. You tell us now. The only question I'm having, Mr. Kushin, because if we want to move the country forward, when they put Alexander Cummings, you're made now. They put Tawan Congo, you're made now. Where you want to? We've been praying to God.
People too straight, but we're fair.
Exactly. We've been praying to God so God can bring us fewer-minded people. People who serious. People who want to do the right thing. May God bring those people in our life. Then we turn around, we're making excuses to not vote those people. So what we want to? what we really want for the country. What we really want for the country. Who in their right mind would be worried to vote an 18-year-old man into power?
Yeah.
What kind of sense does that make?
In Africa too.
What? Think about it. What sense it makes? When we say anything, we hate Waka, we hate this person, we hate that person. But think about it. But I want to leave that part. Let me tell you something, Mr. Christian. The other time I think I was on your show, and I made one or two predictions before I left.
Yeah.
And I want to make a prediction tonight on your show. I wanted to talk about it on Thursday, but let me make the prediction here. George Weah and his boys are about to land in hospital. They are already landed in very serious trouble. I want you to watch over the next few weeks or few days. I want you to watch. President George Weah might not run 2023. Let me say again. President George Weah might not run 2023. The same way last year we said on SKT or other places that Joseph Boakai will not run. President George Weah. And I will say 100%, he confirmed 100% after the summer. Let me tell you today. If you think the thing that George Weah is doing to that country, that it will just take anybody to come and change it, you're lying. You're lying. Those men, they are doing big damage to that country. To the point where you will have to take people with sophistication, people who know what they are doing, to help us in that country. It can be no more playboy or no more playgirl. The men have, let me tell you something, the men have stolen so much. Those guys have stolen so much and they destroy all the fabric of the country to the point where, look, anybody who takes over the country, we have a serious problem on their hands. Let me tell you today, the things that George Weah has done, the things that George Weah plus Ellie has done to the country for 17 years, you think that's joke? It will not be easy. But, Monier, I want to come to this case with the Unity Party.
Yep.
The Unity Party lied to the Gabon people. Joseph Boakai lied. Mo Ali lied. Canada Year lied. All of them lied. Let me prove it to you. The other time I started to read it on the show there and people thought it was a joke. Let me prove it to you. I will read it to your people and I will challenge them to go and look for it. And Mo Ali then say Mr. Cummings and the ANC just put in the clause and they send it to next. And that's what they say?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read something to you. Star Wongwe signed the framework, the MOU, the CPP MOU, to run in the primary. He signed it August 26, 2020.
Yeah.
On August 26, this is what he wrote. Listen, and mind you, Star Wongwe was running against Ije Gongo.
Yeah, I was trying to look for that thing said on his page. I was trying to look for it.
I will send it to you.
Yeah.
I will send it to you. We said this thing is record because we know that when you're dealing with Lala people, you must have record. I will send it to you. Listen to what Star Wongwe wrote. I took the bold step to officially sign the CPP MOU yesterday. Now, this is the interesting part. This MOU is binding and includes many clauses, including the fact that an expiring who loses, then he put quotation marks, shall not contest in the same election as an independent candidate or as any other party's ticket having lost the primaries of the CPP. So you see it?
Yeah.
You were quoting from the CPP framework document. Now, I want to challenge the Liberty Party. I want to challenge whether that belong, that Senator John Kanga that Ije Gongo Weah. I want to challenge all two of them to tell the Liberian people that when Ije Gongo Weah signed this particular MOU to run against Star Wongwe, if the clause were not there, I want to challenge them. You see, these are the things that we can say when we're talking. People say this is that. Let me tell you something. Anything you want to do in life, you're not perfect human being. But when you literally choose to hurt people, God in second blessing is that. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It is not a good thing. Today we're passing around with laughing. Coming. Let me say this. Today they're coming. Tomorrow it could be your family member. Tomorrow it could be your friend. Tomorrow it could be your relative. So my people, we need to be careful about what we do. We need to be very, very careful. Today I see Unity Party passing. If we not go to the primary, if we not go to the senatorial election, this will happen, that will happen. Let me tell you today. That block. Unity Party not going nowhere. And the sooner Unity Party partisans take this party for Honor Joseph Numa Boaka, the sooner it will help. Everything Joseph Boaka has touched in his life as a leader has failed. Has challenged anybody to prove me wrong. Everything. Nothing against Joseph Boaka, but let's go back into history. The LPRC you talk about. What thing happened to the LPRC today?
That's
Is there?
Nothing.
The rest that you talk about that you were on top of and you created the other family, and that's true that lie. Is there?
That's a lie.
Okay. Let's move forward. Let's come to most recent times. Joseph Boaka takes over the Unity Party since 2017. The Unity Party was kicked out of the building disgracefully. The Unity Party is passing around divided. The Unity Party is dormant and silent after the day in what they call for 12 years, ruling for 12 years. Joseph Boaka takes over the CPP. The CPP almost died. He ran away from it. Let me say this to you. Nothing against Joseph Boaka, but the truth is really the truth, and we'll continue to say the truth anywhere we go. The same way how we told you from the beginning. That if you're saying John Weah, you're putting there, you're looking for your own problem. You're looking for your problem. John Weah was not senior when he was senator. John Weah and Prince Johnson were the lowest ranking senator. Go check the record. Because they do the evaluation of the senator. When the president used to be making law, John Weah will be saying that in Paris, watching you. And you're saying you want to be president. We need to change this narrative. We need to change this thing. This country needs to change. And we're not saying about prayer. That's not true. Because I always tell my friend, if prayers would change like well, my mom and my pa, my grandma who passed away, they used to pray about me. She used to pray about me. What are you talking? She used to pray about me. So prayer will not change the country. Prayer will not change the country. Let me tell you what will change the country. When we who want the country to be changed, take the bold step, whether we like John or we like Paul, we don't care whether the person likes the person or they don't like him, whether they're your candidate or not your candidate. But if you know the person can do the job, you put them there.
Yep, that's the fact.
Simple. The country that you see moving forward in America, then put Joe Biden there because they said that Joe Biden will own or Joe Biden betting politics so they might reward him. No, this coming election will not be about reward. It will not be about reward. No, it will not be about reward. It will not be about sentiment. No, it will be about moving the country forward and change. A real change. Because we not reward people too much. I want to reward ourselves as Liberians. So that we can move the country forward for our children and our grandchildren. When you let's not give up. Let me tell you something, let's not give up.
Oh no.
Let's not give up. Let's continue to talk
too far now, we can't stop.
Let's continue to preach this message everywhere we go.
We cannot.
Let me tell you something. The message is gaining momentum. The message is, I'm not talking about necessarily coming for any other candidate, but I'm saying the message of the truth and change is gaining momentum.
Yep, that's the real truth. Liberian people are changing every day. They're getting the message. Yep.
Yep. That's why you can see funny men like Costa today. They no longer how they used to be because the message is changing.
Their car smoking right now.
Funny men like
they're not speeding. They're smoking now.
They're talking about homosexual business.
Yeah.
And the other things. Tabo Ali, they were in that case. We what you need. Selling show.
Yeah.
Don't see all of them partying around that. Don't see them partying around. Those boys are much better.
All of them used to go on the farm.
That's why you see all of them. When you see them, one minute iPhone, another minute iPhone, another minute iPhone, another minute iPhone, because they are not stable. Bunch of liars and crooks. So liars. You see all of them passing, they're trying to recruit each other to laugh. And they thought they were going to get away through the thing. But until the end now, we eat that. Because this country, our man and sat on the side, they didn't talk. Our parents didn't talk. They sat on there and allowed people to ruin this country. We will not give up. We'll be honest. In the night, we'll talk. In the morning, we'll talk. Late night, we'll talk. We'll go to sleep, we'll talk. We wake up from bed, we'll talk. We come from church, we'll talk. We come from where we talk. We are work, we'll talk. Because this country must change. If your team will get tired, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So you might be packing, you might be looking for different excuses. When the other person take over, the other one will be like this. Listen, if you know to do the job, put him there. We want people that can do the job. We don't want that your flimsy excuses. We don't want to do the right thing. If you know that you don't want to do the right thing, no problem, go say that again. But we will be inside, and we are inside to the end. We're not moving for inside. Thank you so much, man. Let's continue.
Thank you, Moses. You hit everything, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, that's Moses. And he hit everything that you guys want to hear. So I want to say thank you very much. And don't forget who is coming. And Moses, please send me that information, man. Send me that thing from Tower One Way and stuff. Please, I'll appreciate it if you can send it for me. Yep. Okay, guys. And thank you very much. And Rebecca from all the way, Rebecca is in Liberia. She followed me all the time. And I got what his name from Lincoln is from Ganta. He's on the voice of Gompa City. Yeah. Yep. When we posted this thing here on August 26, 2020. August 20. You know, CPP honor Mr. Bwaka. CPP put in 3 candidates that lost the election: Lofa and Nimba, Cape Mount, and Bomi Hills, and Grand Judet. The same document. It took the bold step to officially sign the CPP MOU yesterday. This MOU is binding and includes many clauses, including the fact that the aspirant who loses shall, in a quotation, shall not contest in the same election as an independent candidate or on any other party's ticket. Wow. Having lost the primary of the CPP. Integrity matters. We must endeavor to build our institution. I am confident and clear that we will defeat anyone. Wow. You see, sometimes the information, these guys are terrible. They are terrible. My people are telling you the truth. They are terrible. They are terrible. They are terrible. Yes, I got it. I got it, Moses. They are terrible. Cecilia, it's not hard to swallow pills. Cecilia, I'm not offended. I just told you already made up your mind and said that Mr. Cummings was a gay. From your question, that's how I got it. I'm not offended. I've answered that question so many times. I've answered that question so many times. But it's not a bitter pill for me to swallow. Yeah. So I'm not offended of your questions. You can ask me any question, but you asked the question, and at least I went into detail. I just to tell you no. you still will not believe me, because from the way you ask your question, you already assume, the assumption was already there, that Mr. Cummings are gay. But don't you think when he wins, the gay business will be too much? No. But if you never went to Liberia before, well, man, you see, from the way you answer again, he said, you say, I know you are offended, but that's the hard pills to swallow. And I have the right to ask you. Of course, you might not like it, but for your information, I have never seen Liberia either. Okay, brother. Thank you for. Anyway, I know you. Maybe it's some typographical error. Yeah. Okay, guys. You have a good day. Let me play Mr. Cummings. Let me show you the release, so you can read this one for yourself. It's just a release Mr. Cummings sent out today, and it tells you that CPP is ready. So have a good day. God bless you. Pray for me. I pray for you. Don't just go. So, and also it's 2 in 1. And let me play my little nice song called Kapow Kapow.
never take on debt, we'll never borrow, but we'll minimize the amount of debt by maximizing the benefits of the Liberian resources. Again, by stopping the stealing, that will give us some money. You know, you got a leaky bucket and you can't keep putting money in that bucket or water in that bucket, it will not work. So yes, we will reduce the need for donor contribution, reduce the need for debt, and it starts with leveraging our resources, with managing those resources well, and we're stopping the stealing of our resources so that it benefits the Liberian people.
Mr. Cummings, you talk about stopping the stealing, holding people accountable. This is what you do and say out there every time you hit the campaign trail. We talk about ledges. And I want to keep the best for last, but let's talk about ledges. Let's talk about the Ministry of Health. Those reports that came out. We talk about the National Port Authority, mismanagement of fund. We stay on Spoon Talk and talk about the NTA, mismanagement of fund, the Liberian Water and Sewer. We talk about actually government official coming on air and saying, yes, I have my own private entity and I do business with the government. It's no conflict. Mr. Cummings, in your 90 days or 100 days, do you think now, before we get there, as you are president 2023 by God's grace or whenever, is President George Weah doing the right thing to keep those government officials stayed in position?
Absolutely not. I mean, Stanton, absolutely not. Somebody comes and admits to an apparent conflict of interest, and he or she keeps their jobs. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then we wonder why our country isn't changing, why we're not moving forward. And look,
and I'm sorry to interrupt, though. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Cummings, but the government position, and I want you to be very clear with the Liberian folks, they are saying it's allegation. We would take them to LCC. They would go and face in the law. Will you, Mr. Cummings, as president, wait for all those legal remedies to take effect before you suspend, before you fire, please?
Absolutely. The answer is yes. But have they done that, though? They are saying they will follow these processes, Stanton. Are they following those processes? But look, if there is a serious allegation about a government official, we will go through the right processes. I will ask that person to step aside temporarily while the investigation is happening. So we'll not arbitrarily put anybody in jail. We'll not arbitrarily confiscate anybody property. Innocent until proven guilty. We will properly investigate them. We will make sure the Liberian anti-corruption entity, all these, they will make sure they are resourced. We'll make sure they got the tools and materials they need. We'll make sure they got the right people. We'll make sure they have the independence to follow the evidence. We're not going to scapegoat anybody. But in the meantime, serious allegations where there's some semblance of proof, we'll just ask you to step aside, to take a leave of absence while the investigation takes place. And then we'll let the investigation take place. And the results of that investigation, we will execute. And if you're found guilty, you will bear the brunt of the law. Everybody listening to my voice, all of my supporters, I want to be very clear that when you are caught and convicted with your hand in a cookie jar, in a Liberian people money, we will follow the law, we will be prosecuted. And if the government is seeing what you're saying, Stanton, that they want to follow the process, let them do it. They should do it. We need to see it. It needs to be transparent. And we need to see the examples of them actually doing that.
But you are asking for the president to ask those ministers, directors to step aside. Yet, what investigation goes on?
At a minimum, take a leave of absence while the investigation happens. Answer is absolutely yes.
Mr. Cummings, will you go after, for example, will you come back to this government if you are blessed to take office January of 2024? Will you come back to audit this government, go back to the Salif government, and if anyone is found guilty through the audit process of corruption or stealing government funds or whatsoever the case may be, will you confiscate the property if the law gave you that power?
The answer is yes. We will. One of the things we'll do in our first 90 days is we'll ask for an audit of what we will be inheriting, what we'll be taking over. And Stanton would let the evidence lead where the evidence lead. I'm not going to come to office and say, go after XYZ, go after Stanton, go after President Weah. That's not what, as the leader of the president, that's not, I should not be doing that. I'm going to ask the appropriate agencies, appropriately resourced, to audit and to just follow the evidence wherever and whoever it leads to. This is not about scapegoating any one person, any one individual. That's something I speaking against. I'm a victim of that today, and we will not say go audit X, Y, Z. We'll say audit the government, audit the process, and follow the evidence. And if it leads back to people in the former Unity Party government, wherever the evidence leads, it should be followed, and the appropriate remedy, the appropriate prosecution needs to take place. And if people are found guilty and the law allows, we will confiscate the properties that they acquired as a result of their illicit behaviors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Combs. Let's just pause that because there's a lot to discuss in that bracket alone because of massive corruption, as the, how you call it, ambassador said, the keynote speaker at the bicentennial program, she said that. Linda Greenfield also, she alluded to that. She put out a statement. These people are making those comments based on the fact of what they are saying. But Mr. Combs, real quick, let's just talk about the issue of you, Mr. Combs, and this CPP. It's important. We will come back to other matters. CPP, where are we today with CPP?
So, I mean, look, the CPP still exists. There are two parties still in the CPP officially, I mean, with the Liberty Party and the EMC. Two of the other parties announced their intention to leave the CPP and wrote the National Elections Commission to that effect. But the idea of the CPP, Stanton, for me, is still alive. The idea of restoring good governance, of revitalizing our economy, of creating jobs, the ideals of the CPP still exist. The idea of collaborating, not just to win the election, but to govern, to create this big tent. I still believe in those ideals. I still think it's possible. You know, the actors may have changed. The example I like to use, Stanton, the analogy. So if you coming from Buchanan to Monrovia and you in a vehicle, a bus, and that bus breaks down in Habel on your way from Buchanan. Your goal of getting to Monrovia doesn't change. I mean, that was your destination. You had business, whatever your objective was, you want to get to Monrovia. And the bus breaks down for whatever reason, right? You repair the vehicle. If you need new tires, you put new tires on. If you got engine problem, you know, you run out of gas, whatever, you fix the vehicle and you continue on your journey to Monrovia. And the CPP journey is about restoring good governance, about bringing real change, about bringing relief to our country, to our people. And that journey we're still on. As I say, you may have to bring new tires. Maybe you had a vehicle that had 4 wheels. You may need to add, you know, repair the vehicles and get 6 wheels or whatever. And so the CPP will prevail. We're still committed to it. Other parties, we're going to encourage to join us, other institutions, etc. You know, when we joined the CPP, we said the framework agreement was a living document, that it will evolve and change as we go. And that promise still exists. So the idea of the CPP, from my perspective, still lives. And I know Liberians want to see those ideals come to life. The vehicle has broken down along the way. We're going to repair the vehicle. We're going to fix the vehicle, but we're going to continue our journey. In my example, from Buchanan to Monrovia.
Mr. Cummings, the CPP that brought Dillon to power, Young Kanga Lawrence, they took office as senators, or other folks, the CPP that brought them to that December 8th election, you guys were very victorious, and that was under your leadership as chairperson, correct?
Correct.
Do you think that at some point, you, Mr. Cummings, Joseph Yumagwaka, Ben Dagiri, Young Kanga Lawrence, you failed the Liberian people?
So let me go back and I'll answer your question directly, as I always try to do, Stanton. But I do want to recap and emphasize what you just said, that, you know, we worked together, we formed the collaboration, we celebrated his certification, we operated for almost 2 years, 18 months, somewhere in there together. We won an election. Those things happened when I was chair, but I want to also say I don't take all the credit for our success. Many people contributed to that, including the candidates themselves. So I will never sit here as, oh, you know, it's just Alex Cummings. That would be untrue. That's not who I am. We did all of these things, and yet, you know, when we were at the point where we should really have gotten on a roll, if you will, you know, two of the constituent parties decided to leave the CPP. And so I think they have disappointed the Liberian people. You know, in any situation, any collaboration, even in a marriage, in any relationship, is never 100% zero. It is never only the other person's fault. And so because I was a part of the CPP, and the fact that the car has broken down, I'm sure in some way or shape I contributed to that breakdown. And for me to say it's all everybody else's fault, that would not be true, and that would be unfair. But I will remind the Liberians people that we have not left the CPP, and it's the others that have left the CPP. But yes, collectively, we all, one way or the other, contributed to the fact that the car has broken down. But I'm determined, working with the LP and others, to repair the vehicle so we can continue our journey to Monrovia.
So, Mr. Cummings, within the CPP now, it's Liberty Party and ANC. Liberty Party is headed by the chairman, Musa Hassan Berete. You are the standard bearer of ANC. We read on the news last week or so that you declare yourself standard bearer. Can you please clarify what you meant? Sure.
So what I said was, and I'm glad, again, you asking this question so people can hear my voice, and it's in the recording. I sat down with some newspaper people, and let me explain the statement so people have full context. What I said was that within the CPP, there were two candidates for the standard bearership. The former Vice President, Joseph Numa Boykai, and myself. And that the Liberty Party had endorsed me at their convention and has said they would not put up a candidate. And Mr. Ure had endorsed the former Vice President. So we were the two candidates in the CPP. And the fact that Ambassador Boykai has decided that he's leaving the CPP, his party has announced they filed with the National Elections Commission, although they didn't follow the process, but that's a different subject. By default, I'm the standard bearer of the CPP, just looking at exactly what I've just said. But I also said in that conversation that the Liberty Party is a constituent party, and they have a right to, perhaps change their minds or do something different. And if they decide to do that, we will manage it. We'll deal with it at that point in time. We'll have the conversations, the discussions. But that was the context of the conversation and the headline you saw as a result of that.
So Liberty Party now remains Liberty Party. They have no political leaders or no standard bearer within the CPP as it stands. If this CPP, just Liberty Party and ANC, and you are the standard bearer, Mr. Cummings, will you go back to the framework document and as per Article 11.48B that you will ask the other political party for VP if you are the standard bearer?
Yes. So we will decide collectively, the ANC and the LP, what we want to do with regards to the framework agreement. One of the things we will talk about is, do we want to bring other parties into the CPP? And again, it will be a collective decision, but I think it's a conversation we need to have because there are other parties, there are other institutions that I think we should reach out to. Again, I mentioned that the ideals of the CPP, in my mind, are not dead. Working collectively, working collaboratively to restore good governance to our country. And so in discussions with the Liberty Party, we will talk about, do we want to modify the agreement? Because again, we all said initially that this was a living document, that we could at any point in time decide to amend it, to change it, to adapt it, or whatever. And so we'll have that conversation. Do we want to stick to it as it was? And we may agree to do that, in which case we'll follow the 11.5, the exact one you talked about. Or we decide to amend it, or we bring other parties in and adjust it. So I am open to all of those conversations, Stanton. And if we agree collectively to stick to the original agreement, then we'll follow the process. Okay. And as I've always said, I will live with the outcome of processes we've collectively agreed to. This is not about changing the rules in the middle of the game. But we'll sit down with our partners in the LP, we'll have these conversations, and together we'll decide a way forward.
So again, just to be clear for our audience, I understand where you're coming from, but just to be clear, if everything remains as constant, like the Northern Star, you will not disagree for LP to feed a candidate as a vice presidential nominee, correct?
I would not disagree, no.
Okay.
I would not disagree for the LP to field a candidate as the vice president. The answer is no. So
with the choice, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Would that be LP call, or would that be Mr. Cummings' call to select who LP was sent as VP? Because the clause wasn't that clear enough. Can you clarify that, please?
So the framework agreement is actually pretty clear. The framework agreement says that the standard bearer, once he or she is elected, will pick his or her VP, but not from his or her party. So the standard bearer cannot come from the ANC. The standard bearer has to come from, in the original document, from one of the other three parties, right? And so, but the standard bearer will make that choice. And so if it's only Liberty Party and ANC, the standard bearer, if I happen to be that person, would therefore have to pick from the Liberty Party. Now, look, we will have a conversation. I might say, look, give me a name, give me 2 names, give me 3 names. Or I might say, I'm going to pick from among your partisans. Those are all conversations we're open to have. Stanton, this is politics. We're dealing with people, we're dealing with interest, and those conversations would take place. But per the agreement, the standard bearer would not pick from his or her party, but would pick from one of the other 3 constituent parties.
But maybe we are not clear though, Mr. Cummings, because the reason why I want to press on this issue a little more, and please forgive me, but I do that, sir. It says that the aspirant ultimately emerging as the standard bearer of CPP, all right, based on the primaries or concessions, shall within 3 months name his or her running mate for subsequent endorsement by the National Executive Committee, CPP, blah, blah, blah. We said vice standard bearer nominee must be a member of CPP, and it's not from the same political party as standard bearer. Thank you, Emmanuel. So my question, and a lot of folks is interpreting this differently, Mr. Cummings, is that, are you saying you will go into Liberty Party and make your own personal selection as to who to be your standard bearer? Or will Liberty Party say, Mr. Cummings, we want this person to represent us, to be your VP?
No, I will go back to what I
Please,
said.
please help
They-
us.
So the extract you just read, if we stick by it, gives the standard bearer the freedom to pick his or her vice standard bearer from one of the other parties within the CPP. That's the statement you just read, gives the person that right. And so what I also said is I could choose to exercise that right, or as the standard bearer, if I'm blessed to be that person, and I believe I will be, I can decide to say, look, I'm going to sit with my other partners and let them give me a name, let them suggest somebody. We have that freedom to do that, Stanton. But per the agreement that you just read, the standard bearer has the discretion and the right to pick from one of the other constituent parties who he or she wants to be the vice standard bearer. That right exists. I may choose to exercise that right, or I may decide, in the spirit of collaboration, let's sit, let's have a conversation, or let's set up a committee. Let's agree what is the criteria for what we want the vice standard bearer to be, the characteristics. Let's set up a committee and let them do vetting from the constituent parties. Or we may decide together with the Liberty Party, we may decide, look, we want to open this up beyond the two parties. So those are all options. Nothing rules us out from collectively agreeing to doing something different. But the rule, as you just read, gives the standard bearer the option of picking as long as it's not from his or her party.
Can you, Mr. Cummings, tell us about the MOU that came about between ANC and Liberty Party? Did you promise Liberty Party any position, anything, as you guys were moving towards CPP, the general CPP at the time? Did you promise Liberty Party anything?
So we had conversations with the Liberty Party with the intent to sign an MOU. We never formally signed an MOU, just for the record, but we had conversations about doing that. And as with any discussion, anytime you have a partnership, you have discussions about different roles, who will do what, roles and responsibilities. And we had those conversations. And in those conversations, we talked about the Liberty Party having the VSB slot, among others. So those conversations did take place. We never codified it in a formal memorandum of understanding, in a formal MOU, but we had discussions about a wide variety of topics, including different roles. By the way, Stanton, we were very mindful of what happened to the CPP when we first issued the framework agreement, when that document said only CPP members would get jobs in the government, and there was huge backlash. And in all of our discussions with the Liberty Party, we were very cognizant of that and wanted to be careful, both in our discussions and in any document we ended up with, that we wouldn't be exclusive, that we would say, look, we're Liberians, we want all Liberians to participate in government of national unity. But we did have those discussions, let me be clear, but we're very mindful of not limiting stuff because of the backlash we received from the regional framework document agreement. But we never consummated anything in a signed MOU, although when we started the discussion, the intent was to end up at that point in time.
Is the MOU still up?
No, we don't have. We do not have an MOU. As I said, we had conversations with that goal in mind, but we never reached to the point where we formalized and or signed an MOU.
So have both ANC and Liberty Party decide? You guys make a decision to forgo the MOU?
We have not.
What was written?
We have not formally agreed to consummate or not to consummate it. Either way, we are still in conversations, and together we'll make a decision as to what makes sense for us, whether we want to finalize it, consummate it, or keep it open and keep it loose. Those conversations are still taking place.
What do you think, Mr. Cummings? Will you consummate the MOU?
No, I don't want to. I don't think I should prejudge what the outcome of our conversations will be. I think we need to keep the discussions going. Everybody has good intent. At the end of the day, this is about Liberia, about our country, and so I'm open to the conversations we need to have. And I don't think I should look Stanton as political leader of the ANC. My words matter. My words will influence how my supporters, how our partisans think. And if I come on the public and be too definitive, you harden positions. And I think I'll be premature. All I will say is that we continue to have conversations and we'll collectively decide what makes sense for both institutions.
The MOU at the time, did you promise Liberty Party the VP position?
We had discussions about many positions, including the VP position. And so, yes, the VP position was on the table. We discussed it, and we discussed the fact that if the ANC had, you remember now, these are two political institutions. If one gets the top slot, almost by default, the other one should get the second slot. And it was in that spirit that we had that conversation. So the answer is yes.
Was that conversation based on them giving you their endorsement?
That conversation happened in a continuous fashion with the understanding that we were having discussions about the endorsement. Same time, we're having discussions about the MOU. So the discussion was fluid, it was dynamic, it was all happening concurrently. And that's where we are and where we ended up.
So was it that given the endorsement and I can promise you X, Y, and Z, or it was just the conversation out there without any sticking point to Liberty Party endorsement?
No, look, I would say it wasn't just out there. We had a discussion. We said if the ANC names the standard bearer, the SB, the Liberty Party will name the VSB. We did have those discussions, and that was a tacit understanding that if we name this SB, they would name the VSB.
Mr. Cummings, we asked folks from Unity Party if they can recognize Musa Bedete as chairman. They said no. Let me ask you, Mr. Cummings, to you, is Yomdi Kanga Lawrence still the political leader of Liberty Party?
Per the National Elections Commission ruling on all of the challenges that have been brought against the Liberty Party as constituted, as chaired by Musa Hassan Bilidi, is the officially recognized Liberty Party. And so this is why our collaboration is with them. This is why we continue to talk to Musa and his leadership team, because per the National Elections Commission, that is the official entity. They are the official Liberty Party. And if they recognize Yomli as their political leader, then she is. If they do not recognize her as a political leader, then she is not consistent with the ruling from the National Elections Commission. So that decision is actually theirs to make. And whatever decision they make with regards to that, we will support, because the party as led by Musa as chairman is the official party recognized by the National Elections Commission and the official party that's still in the CPP.
So do you recognize her as political leader?
I recognize whoever the Liberty Party recognizes as their political leader.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's fair. Thank you. It's fair. Mr. Cummings, while we go to the court, the George Jomajara courtroom issue, I want to say this because it's very interesting concerning your life, concerning your career, concerning everything we are talking about today, all lies within George Jomajara courtroom. Let me finish up with CPP. My last session on this. There was a meeting called in Ghana, Mr. Cummings. You'd like to speak to that meeting today and clear the air concerning what actually happened. Who called the meeting between Mr. Cummings and Joseph Yimabwaka? Why was that meeting so important? And why the meeting just ended up in a fiasco? Can you talk to us, sir?
Yeah, look, in any political environment, dialogue and conversations are the key to successful outcomes. And the CPP, part of the CPP process for selecting the standard bearer of Stanton is consensus, is conversation. And you don't reach consensus unless you're talking to each other, right? You can't be talking to your own people or stay only in your corner. You will not reach consensus. You got to have ongoing conversations and dialogue. And as I mentioned earlier, at the time, the two candidates for the standard bearership of the CPP was the former vice president and myself. The other two parties at the time had decided they were not going to field standard bearers. And so the decision about who would be standard bearer was really up to the two of us. And so we did have a meeting in Ghana. Both the vice president, we had a one-on-one session. I thought we had a good conversation. I thought it went well. That meeting was never meant, at least from my perspective, to be have a definitive outcome. It was just part of the ongoing dialogue, part of the ongoing conversation, with the hope that we would reach some consensus. If we didn't, then we would go to a convention, to a primary, and select the standard bearer. So the meeting did take place. As I said, from my perspective, it was cordial. It was part of the ongoing conversation and dialogue. And the hope was that we would return to Liberia and continue the conversation and continue the dialogue. And unfortunately, that did not happen. And so we find ourselves where we are today.
Who organized the meeting, Mr. Cummings?
The meeting was organized by both sides. Both the former vice president team and my team got together and organized the logistics of the meeting. Together, we picked the location. We agreed the actors who would participate. So it was jointly done by the former vice president team and my team.
Did you offer the former vice president any money?
I did not. Let me be equivocal and direct. I did not offer the former vice president any money, and I would be prepared to face him and ask him if I, Alexander Cummings, offered him any money at all, and the answer, I did not. I also say, kind of in jest and in passing, that Stanton, when you work as hard as I have to be blessed with the resources I have, I don't throw my money around loosely or easily. And people who know me, I've been accused of being cheap, of not liking to spend money, because I'm very prudent, I'm very deliberate, I'm very thoughtful. And it would be disrespectful for me to sit with the vice president and offer him money. So the answer is no, I did not do that.
Did your team offer his team any money to us? Did they discuss any money?
I asked my team directly if they did, and they said they did not, because one, they wouldn't have been authorized to do that. And I asked them very specifically, and they all denied doing that. And I believe my team that they did not make that offer.
Okay. Did you ask JMB, the former vice president, to step aside and bless you with his endorsement?
The vice president and I have had a series of discussions over time. I think it would be inappropriate for me to, in public, disclose conversations that I had hoped was confidential. And nobody, Stanton, will want to, deal with me or have a conversation with me if they know I will come on your platform or any platform and disclose the content of our conversation. So I respectfully, decline to answer that question. I just don't think it's appropriate to disclose
I
publicly
respect that.
what
I,
we
res-
discussed.
I respect that, Mr. Combs. I do. My last question on this issue: who initiated the meeting? Number one, and number two, were there any foreign actors involved? We heard the name Alan White and other folks. Were there any other foreign actors involved in the meeting? Folks from Ghana?
So as I mentioned earlier, the meeting was organized by both sides. Who initiated it, who didn't, I don't think that's relevant, to be honest. The fact is, we collectively agreed to meet. Nobody twisted anybody's arm. It was collective decision, location, etc., and we met. I think that's the first thing I would say. And in my meeting with Ambassador Boyka, it was only the former vice president and myself, and nobody else was in the conversation with he and I. He had some members of his team were there, not in the meeting that we had. We had a one-on-one, but members of his team was there. I had members of my team there, and whether others were there, Alan White, etc., or if they spoke to others, I think the vice president and his team can speak to that. But my meeting with him was with him directly, and it was a one-on-one conversation.
Mr. Combs, thank you very much for clearing the fact that this Ghana situation, at least. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Serena Seaford, George Chomanjala, and your situation within the magisterial court, sir. I mean, what's your take? On different occasions, when you get into this thing, you say it's fiasco, it's witch hunt. You say the government is after you. I want to give you the chance to talk to our audience tonight. Since you started this process in January, you told Bill. They want to hear from you. Talk to us about this fingering, alteration, and other issue that you were sued for by Banda UNALP.
So let me, and Stanton, I will take maybe even 5-7 minutes of your time to walk people through this whole trial and why it's so disappointing that our country finds itself where it is. But, with the government we have, maybe we shouldn't be surprised. So I remind you, your audience, that, and we mentioned this a little earlier, that we operated under this so-called tampered with framework agreement for almost 2 years. We went to an election. We won seats outright. Senator Dillon, Senator Kanga Lawrence, Brani Samakai, who was denied his seat in Lofa, Simeon Taylor in Cape Mount, Senator Subway in River G. We won many seats. And there were never any issues about the framework agreement. Interestingly, as we began approaching the selection of the standard bearer of the CPP, all of a sudden people discovered there were problems with the framework agreement. You got to find it interesting that for 18 months, nobody raised any issues. But as we're approaching time to select the standard bearer, all of a sudden people discovered this. First thing I would say. Then you recall, I want to remind Liberian audience that as we're approaching this election process, they first began to say, let's go to do black voting. And you recall that, and you guys had a conversation on this network, which didn't make sense. It was inconsistent with the framework agreement and inconsistent with our constitution, and so the black voting idea died. And all of this was because of the sense that we were going to win the CPP process. I said consistently, let's just follow the process, and I will live with the outcome of the process. I will support the outcome of the process, but let's just follow the process. And so all of these allegations began happening, black voting, forging stuff as we were approaching this. the reason why the government is culpable is because when these allegations were made, I don't know if the government actually investigated or they just jumped on it because, again, it was a chance for them to maybe get rid of one opponent using the judiciary to pick and choose who will run against them, or if they actually looked at the facts and decided to deliberately, soil the judiciary using the justice system just to achieve their ends. So I don't know whether they just jumped on it, didn't investigate, which again, incompetence, or even worse, they knew the facts. Because I remind Liberians, it's in the court records. So I gotta be careful everything I say here that is in the public domain because I don't want to risk any sanctions from the court. But there were 2 weeks worth of conversations in the CPP NSC chat room that were extracted by the prosecution, by Serena Sifas and his team. It's in the court record, and they say it was inadvertent, that they inadvertently left it out. Go figure, right? And that 2 weeks worth of chat begins to absolve me of the allegations, right? And I also believe that this clause, because it's a specific clause that they're alleging that we forged, they knew about it, they read about it, but I think they thought they would trap me, that there would be a different outcome from the CPP process, and that I would not be allowed to feel a candidate or run on my own. And God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And I think full circle is gone back to entrap them, as evidenced by the case at the National Elections Commission. So the allegations are baseless, they have no foundation, and we will continually, Liberians will see the proof. And that 2 weeks worth of information that was extracted will prove our innocence. And we got other facts and evidence that when we begin to present our case, Liberians will see very clearly that these allegations are baseless and have no foundation and should not have been brought. They've asked the former vice president, he's been subpoenaed to come and testify. We're looking forward to that. Again, that's not a secret. And we hope he honors the subpoena. I know he's a man of the rule of law, as I am. So I'm pretty sure he will show up in court, and we will get a chance, our lawyers will get a chance to cross-examine him. And I think it will help us get at the facts, at the proof as well. So Stanton, look, I'm not going to make any, the judge, I think, has been put in a tough situation. I got nothing against Juman Jala. He's doing his job. He's been asked to play this role, and it's his job to do it. And I think under the circumstances, the government, I think, has put the judiciary in a very difficult situation. I mean, when the Solicitor General says publicly that, oh, this is a done deal, and he's disparaging the judicial process, but he's not letting them run through the process, and you can't make that statement. Then you ask them to bring evidence that you don't have, then you extract evidence that should be given to us. I mean, what is going on? I mean, he's making a mockery of the judicial system, and shame on President Weah, shame on the others who are helping to orchestrate this, that we're bringing this sort of shame to our country and to judiciary our country. And again, it ties back to the economy, investors. When people see these things happening, they're like, let me stay away from that country.
But Mr. Cummings, with all due respect, though, you've been around a long time, and we're trying to watch the situation in our country. I'm not a lawyer, you are not a lawyer, but we have folks that advise us legally. Mr. Cummings, do you think if Mr. Uri and the ALP Standard Bearer filed a lawsuit, you are telling the Liberian people that the government should back away from it? I mean, what would be your advice I'm not looking at the behavior of Serena Cephas, no. I'm talking about the lawsuit. Don't you think the
Yes.
government was in the right position to look into the lawsuit?
I think the government should have looked into the allegations, and I think if they did, they would have concluded that there was no crime committed. And that's why I said earlier that there's one or two things happen. Either they didn't investigate and they just took Mr. Ure at his word and decided to bring this case to court, or they investigated, saw there was no case, and still decided to bring it to court because they wanted to eliminate one of their potential opponents in 2023. So it's one or the other. And so, yes, I do blame the government. The government has a statutory, they have a right to say, you accuse somebody of something, they should come and investigate and say, is this true or not? And again, the facts will show that we are not guilty of what we're being accused of. And this is why, Stanton, the prosecution said they inadvertently omitted evidence.
But Mr. Cummings, I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cummings. I'm sorry, Mr. Cummings. But that was criminal charges. That was criminal charges that Mr. Cummings brought against. I mean, Mr. Ure brought against you.
Right.
So actually, the government legally have all constitutional right to take on the case because his allegation against you was criminal. Right.
Yeah. No, Stanton, the government has a right to do it if the evidence is there. So anybody can come and I can come and accuse you of criminal act, and then the government just say, okay, we'll go prosecute Stanton. What a fact. So are you saying that they should just do it whether the facts are there or not? Just because somebody accuses you of committing a crime? And what I'm saying to you is, if the government had investigated the allegations in detail and thoroughly, they would have concluded that there were no alteration, there were no forgery, and therefore, thank you, Mr. Ure, we're not going to bring this prosecution. So they either didn't do that, or they did the investigation and still concluded they wanted to prosecute me, to embarrass me, to tarnish my reputation, and they brought the case. Either way, it was up to them. And the facts will prove that we're innocent. And this is why I'm saying the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia did not provide all the evidence as required by law. And they admitted they inadvertently left all evidence. And that evidence.
Do you think this government afraid to run? Do you think this government afraid to see you in 2023?